Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SATAL 2020. I'm your host, Moltar, joined as always by the mustache man himself, Billy Merlin. Billy, how you doing this morning?
I'm not doing too bad, hanging out.
You are a little loud, so let's turn you down a smidgen. Oh, it's probably you're loud because I've got you double talking. So we're going to turn you down a little bit. And we got a big match. So Baby Shakers taking on German Tactical Air Group. I think we've seen both of these guys fly a little bit in the past. Quick clarification, though. I'm sorry for starting everything late today. I just had real life get in the way of everything that was going on, and sometimes you really can't do anything about that. On another note, Nightbot is telling you guys the connection and port IB for TACView. So the reason TACView wasn't working in the past was because my IP address, my external IP address, changed. So make sure that you guys use the new IP, which Nightbot is telling you right there in chat. So if you guys want the command, it's !TACView, and it will tell you the new IP address for real-time telemetry in TACView. But anyway, Billy, sorry to cut you off earlier. We saw these guys fly. I think they're pretty equally matched. What are your expectations for today's matchup? I think we're going to go the distance for 3 rounds.
Yeah, I'm going to side with you on this one. I haven't done a ton of research, and I've only really watched these guys one other time, so I'm not too sure what to expect from today.
Let me comms. Let's turn monitor off. Let's do that. There we go. Guys, let me know if Billy and I are pretty equal. I had to turn him off. I don't know what I sound like. Let me know if our voices are good, but I'm excited about this matchup. Trying to think if I've got any other news. I've redone a lot of the stream. I ported from OBS Studio to Streamlabs OBS, not because one or the other I think is better, but because I was having so many problems with Streamlabs OBS. I'm just hopeful that today we get around a lot of those issues. I turned Ned's volume up a bit, so he should be better.
Who?
Ned. They called you Ned.
Who the fuck's Ned?
I don't know. They're talking about you.
I don't know anything about that.
But they're saying Billy's volume is a little low, but I think I've addressed that, so we should be good to go there. Oh, Billy's gone. Hopefully that's not a precursor to the stream going down. We're still up, but Billy went bye-bye, so hopefully he comes back. But I'm excited about today's match. Back to what we were talking about earlier. I've redone some of the stuff with the stream. As you guys can see here, I've changed the main talking page. I've changed some transitions. I've added and changed some scoreboard stuff. We've just changed a bunch of stuff. So hopefully this ends up getting fixed. Not necessarily gets fixed, but hopefully it is fixed, and we can carry on with today being a better stream than what we've seen in the past. Billy has left me. Not sure where he went, but Xander says he likes the changes, feels more stat-oriented. Well, stat-oriented, the stats that you see are for the stream, and then the stuff on the left is for the actual match that's taking place. So it just means that you guys, people that are joining, I guess, can tell what the score is and what round we're flying in. But hopefully this ends up working out. New camera seems to be working. Hopefully we don't have any problems with that. Billy and I both switched to mirrorless DSLRs, and I just hope that we start moving in the right direction. I'm really hopeful that this all starts going and working out for us, and we stop having all of these issues going forward. But Billy looks like he's trying to get his stuff sorted. So while he's doing that, we're gonna move right on into the live stream. Again, this is Baby Shakers taking on GTAG, or German Tactical Air Group. We're going to be taking off with Baby Shakers. I think this is up at Maycop. I'm pretty sure this is Maycop. They have 2 F-16s and 2 16s that'll be departing from there, and I'm not sure where they're going to be departing from. Billy, we need your webcam. I heard you come back in, but we need your
Working on it. I think you may want to pull my camera. I think it's something's up with that, and you have to redo something here. So
he's ruined me. He's ruined
Sorry.
me. I thought I had everything working, and now Billy's the one with the problems. He's the one with the problems. But it is what it is. So what can you do? Oh well. So we're going to jump in and see how these guys are getting on. We're going to ride along with Shades in an F-14 as he gets his taxi on here at the start of round 1. Again, Baby Shakers taking on German Tactical Air Group. Let's jump into it. So here we are, Baby Shakers taking on German Tactical Air Group. I ported over the webcams for the initial part of this, so sometimes we're not doing a whole lot, and maybe you guys want to see the bread on our faces. Billy should be here. I didn't have time to set up his webcam, but his webcam's not working right now, so you just get to look at my face.
Working on it.
In the meantime. But just riding along with Shades and Skittles in their F-14s as they taxi towards the main group. Loco and Spock, if we flip over and look at them, Loco and Spock are the ones in the F-16s on the other side of the airfield, where Shades and Skittles are taxiing to. See if we can see. There is Skittles and Shades taxiing down the main, I think that's the main runways. They're back taxiing to meet up with Loco and Spock. So I don't know what weapon restrictions we're flying today. As always, I don't jump into I don't look through the TAC views or the tracks or anything like that before we get into any of this. I just look and see when these guys are taking off so I can fast forward a little bit so we're not sitting here on the runway waiting forever. Billy, something I did notice is we've got at least 2 F-14s for Baby Shakers, which isn't very common. So last week...
Try the camera. I think the camera
it's off. I can see you trying, but I don't see your picture.
It's coming through on the stream, on the Discord for me.
I don't see it.
Okay.
Oh, maybe I do now. Now I do. Okay, I got you now. We're back. This is a boring song.
Good to go?
Yeah, I got to get your webcam ported over, but we're just watching these guys taxi down here as we look at the upside-down F-14. There we go. Just watching these guys taxi. Billy, as I was saying earlier, we've got 2 F-14s. We saw the F-14 on Saturday make a pretty pivotal appearance and just smash the ever-living crap out of the opposition's faces. I think they were... Oh, Billy's gone again. So maybe it's bandwidth. Billy, maybe it's bandwidth with your camera or something. You just keep dropping off.
I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Is the camera coming through?
Yeah, the camera's coming through, but you just keep dropping on Discord. Maybe Discord's just taking a massive dump. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, we were talking about the F-14s playing a role. Do we think we're going to see the same thing? I don't know what weapon restriction we're flying with today. So do you think we're going to see the same thing happen today as we did on Saturday?
Tough to tell. These guys didn't necessarily fly that in a similar way to that, I think, the last time we saw them. So I'm not sure. I struggle to predict what we got going on today.
1 second as I try and get Billy's face on this webcam. Just grab this down here, put that there. Oh, come on. Do that. Let's do this. There we go. Now we got Billy's face here. So hopefully Billy doesn't drop off again, but we got Billy joining us. And I'm going to be able to take these off as we move forward. I hope that DCS didn't just take a massive dump. Oh, it's because we're in studio view, and I don't want to be in studio view. Sorry, guys. Just getting things ironed out. There we go. Now we're fixed. So hopefully Billy doesn't drop off again. Sounds choppy. The sounds are not choppy at the moment. Is that good?
I think that means things are going well, right?
I hope so. I increased the buffer on the virtual audio cables, so hopefully that ends up fixing it. I'm also getting all of my audio. I'm monitoring the DCS audio. The only thing I'm not monitoring is my own voice and Billy's voice, because I need to be able to hear Billy when you guys can't hear Billy. So I'm not monitoring him. I'm listening to him on something else. But I am monitoring DCS. So when it takes a dump, hopefully that means that I'm going to be able to hear when it takes a massive dump as well. So again, we've got 2 F-14s and 2 16s, Spock and Loco in the 16s, and Shades and Skittles. I love all their names. Shades and Skittles in the 14s. So how I want to picture this going down, Billy, is I picture the 14s being like the dog walkers. They're like the guys with the leashes. And the 16s are like the rabid dogs on the end of their leashes, just ready to be unleashed and run down their opponents. So you've got the long sticks, or the guys that can throw the sticks for the dogs to go fetch in the 14s, and then the dogs that can just go attack whoever their masters tell them to go attack in the 16s. At least that's how I'm looking at this. So I'm curious to see if that's how this all goes, where the 14s stay back and the 16s really jump in and get into the thick of it.
Well, generally, with the way the distances kind of shake themselves out, you can most of the time, I think, send in the 16s kind of lower and then have those 14s up higher, further back. You know, those Phoenixes are going to drive guys down to the deck, and in the process of evasion is when the decision making becomes a little bit more difficult, I think, at the end of the day, and it gives those 16s a decent opportunity to get in and maybe get the kills the Phoenixes don't get there.
So something else to point out, looking at the 16s, is the 16s are taking all 120s. I like that. I like that a lot. Looks like they're taking off. Loco is the first to roll, followed by Spock. And then we're sometimes the 14s, so the back pair departs immediately. But I don't know what they're going to do with spacing. It's always interesting to see what the teams do as far as spacing with distance between the initial element or two ship, typically in gold, since it's 4v4, and the back element and what ends up happening there. But I can hear the Tomcat spooling, so I guess we're not going to wait too long. And indeed, they are rolling. Skittles and Shades are both rolling in tandem, so not a huge amount of distance going between these two, which I like. I'm not a huge fan of massive distances between elements when you've only got four aircraft. Any predictions for distance on the first Phoenix when it's going to be launched?
I'm going to say somewhere between 40 and 60.
Is that based on a Mark 47 or a Mark 60, or is that regardless?
I mean, that's obviously going to differ depending on which one of those you take, but I feel like generally within that range, you're either one of those two is going to have a mark within that range is going to be more optimal than the other, right?
I mean, yeah, Mark 60's damn effective out to 60 miles as long as the opposition stays high, but you're not going to get a warning until late. Looks like the 14s are taking 4 Phoenix, 2 AIM-7s, and 2 AIM-9s, and I can see the AIM-7 on Skittles aircraft too. So not quad AIM-9s like we've seen in the past. Still no TALs, which you and I have spoken about a little bit in the past. I'm not a huge fan of the TAL, but I don't fly a lot of 14s. I'm the type, though, when I shoot at somebody, I like to use my 2D OP zoom and zoom in on somebody so I can actually see their aircraft. It's like my sniper pod, my faux sniper pod that I actually don't have.
I'll tell you what, one thing that's been nice about flying the Hornet recently is getting the air-to-air mode in the targeting pod. Being able to have that ability to kind of look out and see what's going on is kind of nice. And I just know a few times on, public servers and stuff where I've picked somebody up, looked at it, and then just realized I snagged the wrong contact, in the process of manipulating the radar. So it definitely has some nice benefits, I think, in the long run. It can mess with the timelines and to take your attention away, I think, at times too. So you have to be careful with it. And I think it takes a little practice to kind of work into the workflow.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I'm really looking forward to it so that I don't have to zoom in quite as far, because that does take away from your situational awareness when you zoom in. But I use it like a sniper pod where I zoom in to see if missiles are coming off the rail from long ranges before you get the missile warning, so that I can defend before I get into an undefendable position. Because if you're at 40,000 feet and you get that pitbull warning from a 120C or, heaven forbid, a Phoenix, you're as good as dead unless you're able to vertical notch it. You're not getting away from that. No matter how far away that missile's launched, because it's at that high altitude. for a long period of time, it's able to maintain its energy. And by the time it reaches you, even over 40, 50 miles from AIM-120C, if it still has battery life, you're just toast.
Yeah, absolutely. That is certainly one aspect to think of here. And something that most people don't think of a lot is the battery life on these missiles and so on and so forth.
Sorry, guys, making some adjustments for the camera. I have to relearn some stuff. I got some more buttons on my Stream Deck that I have to contend with, and for the face cams and stuff, and it's just more stuff. So I push the wrong buttons, and things are a little bit slower, and I got to get used to them again. But I think we're doing okay. So the other team, as we look from this perspective, looks like it's all 16s. I see 3 of them so far. I can't tell what the lead aircraft is, but Gozer, Papa, and Airy are all in Block 50 16s. And then if we move to the map... Sorry, that's actually an AWACS out in front of us. If we move to the map, they have a 14. So there's 3 14s and 5 16s in total in this map. So 2 14s and 2 16s for Baby Shakers, and then 3 16s and 1 14 for German Tactical Air Group. Again, the people for German Tactical Air Group are Papa Saber, Gozer, and Airy in 16s, and then Night Raid trailing in the F-14s. This looks like a 3-ship in the front, followed by a trail, and what looks like a Stinger formation. So 3 16s in the front, Singleton 14 in the rear. And I guess German Tactical Air Group is just going to be a little more aggressive. When you say, Billy, I mean, more 16s to me stems or pushes us in the direction of believing that they're going to be more aggressive.
I tend to agree with that. I think the 16s, we just tend to generally the behavior we see out of it. But I mean, at the end of the day here, I think everybody, coming into this, is showing quite a bit of aggression at the end of the day. I mean, the 14s do tend to sit back and chuck those Phoenixes, and I'm curious to see exactly what we see out of either of these two teams today. What was the German Air Tactical Group airframe makeup again?
German Tactical Air Group is 3 16s and 1 14, and then Baby Shakers is 2 and 2. So
2 and 2.
Yep, a little bit of a distant mission location today. It's actually Krasnodar. It's not makeup. It's Krasnodar taking on Mozdok. So this is some distance. I think it's Kraz. Pretty sure it's Kraz.
Do we
Kraz
see
Center.
those two Phoenix, or I'm sorry, those 2 14s focus on trying to take out that other 14 early on? Do you think that's a strategy in this whole thing? Maybe they disable that thing. Now the distance game is an advantage on their side, right?
I don't know that they're going to be that specific. I mean, it's really hard to pick people out at that distance, because even if they're separated by 10 to 15 miles locally, when you're looking at them from 70 miles, it almost looks like they're right on top of each other.
No, that's certainly fair. I think at the end of the day, though, the RWR does give you a little indication as to maybe who is who as you're kind of sorting through those contacts.
Maybe. But the other thing is, can the Phoenix go Pitbull on another contact if it's in their vicinity, or with Magic INS, is it always attack whoever you launch on? I've never thought about that.
I know how that can be affected too. If, say, I shoot at somebody and then somebody else kills them, what happens to my missile that is still streaking towards a dead contact at that point? I know there's some funny business that happens there as well too.
And guys, sorry the noise. My son upstairs, I think my wife put him to work in vacuuming. So you'll have to excuse any noise that you may hear. But chat, do you guys know about the Phoenix? Will it pick somebody else up? Why, maybe my mic's doing a good job of you guys not hearing it. Dynamic, localized mic for the win. I guess it's doing a pretty good job of you guys not hearing anything. But chat, do you guys know? Will a Phoenix... I think it should, but with Magic INS still a factor with the AIM-54, will it pitbull on another contact? No Wheel says yes. Okay. So if you launch at a contact, say that you pick out the Tomcat, there's a possibility, I guess, given what No Wheels has just said, that it can indeed target once it comes into the vicinity of other aircraft, not its intended target. Mongoose says there's no sound in a vacuum. Learn some science. I'm sorry. I am not a learned person. Still a long way to go for these guys ingressing towards
What was
bullseye.
the total distance from airbase to bullseye?
Total distance, if we go Krasnodar to Mozdok, 250 miles. There are tankers. This is the first map that we've seen with tankers. So there are tankers. So if these guys are low on fuel and they don't think they're going to be able to quite make it back to base, there are tankers that they can utilize. Granted, typically if you hit the tanker and you run out of gas, you're probably going to be able to glide back.
Yep.
So for what it is, there are tankers on this map. There are AWACS as well, but there are tankers. First time we've seen them.
Kicks butt without tanker gas.
Tanker?
I don't know if that's how that go. I don't think that's how that phrase is exactly said. I think there's a little bit different choice of words there, but yeah, I got you. I got where you're going.
We got his drift. We got his drift. We understood what he meant.
And I say that all differently as if we don't swear around here. Nobody kicks ass without tanker gas. There we go.
Any news in the DCS sphere? I finally watched a bit of that Hind video.
There was the Hind video, and then there was like the Nick Gray interview. Or
I've not
Nick Gray,
seen that.
sorry. It was an interview with the business development guy. I think it was the
Was
Grim
that the one
Reapers
Growling Sidewinder? Or not Growling Sidewinder, Grim Reapers did?
Grim Reapers did, and then there was some drama on Hoggett with Grim Reapers today. They stole some name for something or other.
Wingman Finder?
Yeah, Wingman Finder, which I did find that, frankly, as I now think about it, I read that and I did find that a bit egregious. It just seemed like a lazy attempt to do something similar and lack of creativity at the end of the day there.
I guess. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
If they have success with it, they have success with it. It's like we ran, so Taw put on the Top Gun event a while ago, and then I asked them if we could use the Top Gun name, and then we used the Top Gun name for I think about a year and a half ago for a BFM event, and then we did then 104th used the Top Gun name. So it is what it is.
No, it is. It is. Frankly, I thought there was an opportunity maybe for a group that large to partner with a group like Wingman Finder, right? Like that seemed to me like maybe the smarter option there. Like that may be the better thing for the community, bring two groups of that size together for a common cause like that.
Maybe.
So
maybe
that comes up. Maybe they talk.
Yeah, I wish all the success, and maybe that's what they were doing to begin with. I don't know. I don't have enough information about it to make an educated opinion. I just hopefully it works out for them. That's all I can say.
And it looks like the Syria map, I think, based upon what they were saying, end of September, maybe now. It looks like it's a little bit further out than we think. The
Did they say that?
I think he says that the business development guy says that in the interview where it's.
I wonder if they're talking about, because I had heard like this month.
My guesstimate was because we're only getting one update a month now, and I think that one we're looking at 2 weeks from tomorrow. The 12th, or no, a week from tomorrow, the 12th, or maybe it's the 19th. I don't remember exactly. It's either the 12th or the 19th. I think we're looking at that status update page in the forum. I think has it now. I was assuming we would see it then, but based upon the comments in that interview, at least how it was retold to me, I haven't actually personally listened to that interview, but it sounded like the end of September, but. I don't know. I was assuming we would see like the Hind get, coupled in for maybe like a dual release thing like they did with Persian Gulf and the Hornet, but I don't know, man. That Hind still looked like it had a long ways to go.
Yeah, it may be just kind of placeholder things where maybe they're just finalizing things and they didn't want to put them in there quite yet, but we'll have to see. I'm excited about it. I think it'll be cool. We'll have to see what the multiplayer community does. If the multiplayer community is willing to separate the Hind and the KA-50 on Blue and Red 4. I know they're both Red 4 aircraft, but to give both sides a semblance of balance, I think it would be
one thing
cool
that kills me is like I feel like the HIP has been sold, or the MI8's been sold to so many different entities. Like of all the airframes, all the things in DCS, I feel like the HIP has ventured into like the territory where it could be on either side. Really, there's so many different countries that utilize that helicopter.
Did I say MI8?
No, you said Ka-50, but in regards to the
Oh,
helicopters,
okay.
I guess I would like to see the MI8 be an option on both
I
sides on
agree.
more
I
servers. You know,
agree.
it's just the stuff that you know, Russia's sold to a lot of people in a lot of different ways with some of their equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and same with us. You know, the equipment ends up falling on both sides of things, and to sit there in today, and especially today's DCS world, more specifically, and try to paint things in this NATO Warsaw Pact way, I think it's just really difficult to do. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if you were to sit down and just like do that in a straight up manner based on where the plane or where the entity was manufactured, like it wouldn't work out that well. Like it wouldn't. I think we could both agree, like it wouldn't be an enjoyable server or a place to go
Well,
hang out.
what
Right?
I think needs to happen is we watch these guys scramble for location here. What I wish people would do would be to be open to imaginary conflicts, right? I wish people would be okay with creating their own conflicts. And while I'm speaking, Night Raid has launched the first AIM 54. As we flip over and watch from his perspective, is that AIM 54 takes the sky. It's Mark 47, so we are, I believe, now that he could have armed it with Mark 47s in the A weapon restriction, but I'm pretty sure we're on the B weapon restriction. So this is, we're assuming the B weapon restriction, which means 120Bs and AIM 54s. So we're going to get rid of the webcams for now. I'm going to show you guys the super sweet scoreboard that I came up with. It'll come down for a little bit, and then it'll pop itself back up. Hopefully it works, but we'll have to see. I hope it works. Let's see if it works. So AIM 54. I guess it didn't work. Are you going to work? Come on, man. There it goes. So AIM 54 launched from both sides. So Skittles and Shades responded. So Night Raids launched one for the German Tactical Air Group side, and then Baby Shakers have launched one for their side. Neither of those, I think, are going to be any type of factor as they get closer, and seemingly they look like they're going to run out of energy. Is that scoreboard going to go away? You're supposed to go away, scoreboard. And I'm not supposed to have webcams on here, so I guess we're going to use webcams, and I'm just going to deal with it. But webcams are up. So 14, or the AIM 54 launched by Night Raid, looks like it's coming in on Skittles. Can we see it? I don't see it. There it is. So there's the AIM 54. It's run out of gas. Don't see that as being a factor. So neither one of those 120s or the 54s really posed any type of problem. And I got to fix these webcams because they're coming up on a scene that they shouldn't be coming up on. So I'm going to fix that real quick while you guys look at the map. Nothing really going down. Well, there is a 120 coming in hot onto Spock. If we jump to his view, Spock's high. And there's the 120 off to his right. Is it going to be a... Well, that's not... That was his 120. Don't see it. There it is. So 2.1 miles. It's still got some juice, but Spock's now diving away, and I don't think that's going to be able to reach out and touch him. I think he's going to be able to get away from that without too much of a problem. It's trying to keep up with him, but that last turn, yeah, it bled all of its energy. So that thing's dead. So still 4 pilots remaining for both sides. Spock's outrunning that 120. No more AIM 54s being launched. While that's going on, I'm going to take this time in an attempt to fix this webcam. The webcam should not be on here. So let's close that. Webcam's here. Yep. Okay. So that should be fixed. So the webcams are now gone on this one. And nothing... We've settled back into a nice, slow regrouping. So we've got 4 aside here. Everybody's quite spread out for the German Tactical Air Group. And Baby Shakers are more confined in their 2-ship elements, which I like the mutual support a little bit more for them. If one guy gets into trouble, they're able to much more easily mutually support their wingmen. I like that. 3 Phoenixes left for German Tactical Air Group and 7 remaining for Baby Shakers. Gozer, what is this? What is this? What is this nonsense? Come on, man. That is not a good launch. That's not the right one. It's this one. What is this? No. No. This is like 30 miles.
This is a sharp turn on that.
Oh, that
contact
one
there.
came from Airy, which is even, that's not good either. 35 miles! No.
Yeah.
No. Just, no.
Especially with the Bravos, man. Like,
I think it's people picking up bad habits in PvP where they're expecting people to just fly directly into these missiles. I mean, Billy, we've talked about this on PvP servers.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to...
just grab a tac view. Grab any random tac view. You
I
see numerous instances of people just flying straight into shit.
Yeah, and what I meant was we don't need to talk about any specific server, but it doesn't matter what server you're on.
It
Because
doesn't matter.
they're all over the place.
Yeah.
People just fly straight into them. Multiple Mark 47s coming in now against Spock and Loco. I'm going to try and grab both of these. So here is one. And then on the other one, I'm going to try and grab... There's the other. And we're going to try and do this split screen style. So we've got one Phoenix coming in on one target and another Phoenix coming in on the other target. The Phoenix on the right is ingressing, and it's got plenty of juice left, 1,100 knots. But you can see that last-ditch turn, and it's bled almost all of its speed, and Spock's able to very easily fly underneath it. The one on the left is now coming in on its intended target on Loco, and Loco's broken away, and that missile's trashed. So well done by both Spock and Loco to be able to get away from those missiles effectively, and those are going to pose no issue. I really like that these guys seemingly defended early, and you guys can see how much energy both of those missiles lost during terminal guidance. So you got to make sure you launch close enough with the Mark 47 that the missile's just going to be coming out of power by the time it gets to terminal guidance. Otherwise, it's not going to have any energy left. You can see how much energy they bleed. Here's a Mark 47 being launched by Skittles onto Papa Saber. I really don't see this as being a threat.
Let's check that vertical closure, or the closure right there.
Really don't see this as being a threat. It should be coming down from somewhere on high, on yonder. And the Phoenix that you guys can't see is dead. Yeah, so if we flip back over to the map here, the Phoenix is right here, and it's already down to 700 knots. Papa Saber's doing some maneuvers. We can flip back to him. Papa Saber's doing some maneuvers now into a vertical notch. There's no way that missile's able to stay with him. So he's just defending because he just got the missile warning, and he's getting that butt puckering moment where the missile may still be under power, but he doesn't know that because he doesn't have the view that we have. So good on him for defending early. And the Tomcat drivers have really just got to wait. Just wait. Outwait your opponents. Fire at the last possible moment to get that high PK shot. 120 coming in on Skittles. That thing's trashed. Yeah, 500 knots. That's not going to pose any problem. So pretty defensive posturing coming from both sides. Billy, how does this get broken? What you think it's going to result, as we've seen in several matches in the past, where the Phoenix is the nutcracker that comes in and breaks everything open finally?
Well, how many have we seen shot so far? At least 4, right?
I think 4, maybe 5.
So that tells me, so we had, let's see, 3 cats at 4 apiece, 12. So almost half the Phoenixes in the round or in the match are gone right now, right? We can probably guess. So I don't know. I really think now we're venturing into where these guys are probably going to be a little bit more conservative with the shot selection now that they're down to about half their stores. I don't know who's fired what from each side. I think we've seen at least 2 or 3 out of I think it was 2 out of the German tactical air group guys. So we can imagine they have probably two left at this point.
Yeah, probably something like that. This 120 coming in against Spock. Now, well, maybe. Let me see if I can get it. Where is it? There's Spock. So here's the 120 coming in against him. We can see in split view. And they just don't have the juice. They're waiting, they're not waiting long enough to make these effective shots, which is just unfortunate. And Spock waited a little bit to put this 120 back on Papa, but by the time he launched, Papa was already defending and made that missile a non-factor. So these guys have just got to wait. Skittles Skittles, these are better shots coming from Skittles. So Skittles puts 2 Phoenixes out from 20 miles. Those are a bit better. I'm more a fan of these as they come in. These are going to have a much higher PK chance as they come in on their target. Come on. We're actually just going to ride along with this one on the left. But even then, they bleed because they're huge fins. They bleed so much energy in terminal that any type of non-straight flying maneuver that German Tactical Air Group is definitely demonstrating just kills them. I mean, this Phoenix, not too long ago, was at 1,200 knots, and now it's just falling with style at 200 knots.
Yeah, if you don't make that thing work, it's going to be a long day for you. It's going to get you. You have to make that missile work to try to get you. And I think, good point you made there with the fin size, right? The more you can laterally move and get that Phoenix bending or having to cut through the air at a different angle, the more wind those fins are going to catch, the more resistance those fins are going to catch, and the further it's going to slow that missile down. So you really want to try to force that thing off axis as much as possible.
We have Spock on the right, and I'm going to give you guys the F2 view of his aircraft. And we've got the overall tactical view on the left. So Spock is the lead ship for Baby Shakers, and he launches a 120 onto Night Raid, but Night Raid responds with an AIM-54. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the AIM-54, she's got a little bit more juice than the AIM-120, and Spock may be in trouble. We can see the AIM-54 closing on him. Is he going to be able to notch it? It's still under power, 2 miles away. Night Raid has effectively gotten away from his missile, so let's ditch that and go to Spock's view. Half mile. You've got to maneuver, Spock, and Spock gets rammed up the exhaust pipe, and he is the first casualty, Billy, as we thought it was going to happen. The Phoenix, the nutcracker that breaks everything open, Night Raid just says enough is enough and removes Spock's wings. And having your wings clipped as an airplane is bad.
That's going to be one hell of a lawn dart right there.
That's a problem. But well done by Night Raid. He got in close. You can see how easily those 120Bs are defended in comparison to the Phoenix. And the Phoenix just out-motors and out-muscles that AMRAAM with no problem. And you guys saw that that AIM-54 was fully powered up until about 2 miles from its intended target. And at that range, if you don't notch it, you're going to have a bad time. As the Spence says, right up the poop chute. Yep, exactly. So now there's 3 pilots remaining for Baby Shakers, 4 still for German Tactical Air Group. But something I will say, Billy, is German Tactical Air Group is pretty spread out. Their 2-ship elements are kind of close together, but Orion Gozer are way far away from Saber and Night Raid. So we've got a 3v2, it looks like, developing here between what's remaining of Baby Shakers and what's remaining of German Tactical Air Group. AIM-54 launched from Shades from 11 miles. That's got potential. She's got potential. That is not the right missile. There it is. So still under power, flying low. You can see how much airspeed this thing has as it quickly closes. 1,400 knots incoming onto, I think that's Saber's aircraft. Yep, that's Papa's aircraft. 2 miles left, but is it going to be able to maintain its airspeed? 800 knots closing. We're under a mile. It's going to be close, and it just bled all of its airspeed. That's really unfortunate. So really, really close, but that last couple turns that Saber was able to put on that caused the missile to change its trajectory and just dump all of its remaining airspeed and energy. So well done by them. But we've got a possible merge coming between Loco and Night Raid. Night Raid has incoming threats coming on him. We're going to jump to his perspective. He is flying low in an F-14 over Mach 1, and you guys can't see it. Let's give you guys that again. He's still alive. He's got that 120 right over his right shoulder, or his left shoulder, and he's able to get away from that seemingly with no problem. You can see him back there. Where'd that missile go? It went into the ground. Glad we didn't miss anything. I pushed the wrong button to try and change that camera angle. But Night Ray got in pretty close. He was like 5 miles away, but was able to effectively run that missile in the ground, so no harm, no foul. Now we've got Skittles and Papa Saber getting into it. Does Skittles have any remaining long boomsticks? So he's got an AIM-54, and there goes the AIM-54 from Skittles, and that may be a reoccurrence of the situation we saw earlier. Let's jump to Papa Saber, and there's the Phoenix 3.5 miles away. Is he able to run it into the ground, or does that... Oh, it went into the ground. I thought that thing was just going to be skimming along the tree. Oh, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. That was just the motor burning out. So that thing was literally mowing grass that you guys didn't fucking see. You didn't fucking see it. Oh, my God. I need to kick myself. You didn't see it.
We saw it. It was just from a distance.
You know what? Do I reload that track? I'm going to reload the track because that was worth seeing. We're going to reload that. Okay, so that was worth seeing. Let's reload this. At least they're tracked, so I have the opportunity to do this so we don't miss anything. That was a great shot. Great shot. Man, oh man. Let's just fast forward and catch back up and relive the action. Pros of tracks. Man, Billy, we're just seeing the Phoenix eat people alive. They're getting in way too close against Tomcats. I don't know what they're doing. They're just 7 miles, 8 miles against a Tomcat in flat land. You got to have a bad day.
It's not smart.
I mean, what would you do to combat that?
Well, as far as I'm going to be careful about how close I approach in on an F-14 on my RWR. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, what I would do in that situation, if I do have to get in close against a Tomcat, is I would already be bleeding airspeed. So I'd be predicting that I'm going to have to get into a notch really quick. I don't want to be caught at Mach 1 and then having to dump all of my airspeed after their missile comes off the rail. I want to already be sitting at like 300 knots, encroaching on a Tomcat, hopefully unseen, and then be able to notch much more effectively if I need to. At least that's my game plan when I try and come in against Tomcats. But these guys got to slow down or use your terrain or not get caught in an open field against somebody with a much bigger boomstick than you have. It's a recipe for a very bad time. Coming up on our time window. Let's see here. Okay. Turn this down. Guys, I'm just getting stuff. I know you're just staring at this aircraft for the time being, but I think we're caught back up. So we're going to... Yep. Here's the incursion. And we're going to play it. Okay, so we're riding along with Skittles. There goes the Phoenix from Skittles' aircraft. And it's targeted at Papa Saber. See if we can see where it's at. There's the Phoenix, 4 miles away, 3.5 miles away. And this is what I was talking about. This thing mows the lawn. So there's the engine coming off right there. And then boom! Papa Saber gets demolished. So that was like a picture-perfect moment of if that missile was launched from any lower altitude, it probably would have gone into the ground. Or if Papa Saber had waited even just a little bit longer before pulling up and had gotten to a little bit lower altitude before defending that, missile would have gone on the ground. But man,
yeah, from attack view, that would be an interesting wash on there.
That was, well, maybe in the tack view you just don't see it, but that was like lawnmower-esque. I mean, maybe it went slightly below the ground. I know there's some weird stuff that happens in DCS, but man, you gotta be slow in those situations, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are getting caught way too fast, way too fast. You've got to be predicting that these things are coming, and you've got to be ready for them. But I feel like these guys are just trying to react to these situations. And when you're reacting to a missile that's flying at Mach 3 from 7 miles, you don't have time.
I wonder if missiles can collide with trees or if they just desync right through them. I'm not sure.
They go through them.
They go through the trees. Yeah, I figured as much. It looked like it there from the angle that missile had to take to get to that plane. It looked like it would have had to go through a tree.
Yeah, they just go through them. But that brings us to a 3v3. So I'm glad we were able to relive that. That brings us to a 3v3 scenario. Skittles has equalized it with the execution of Saber. And now Shades is pushing on Gozer, and Loco may be in for a head-on incursion between himself and Night Raid. Does Night Raid have any 54s left? No, Night Raid does not have any 54s left. I don't see Loco. There's Loco's aircraft. So 10-mile separation between them. Loco, in this particular situation, is going to be the man with the longer gun. No, he doesn't. Loco has no missiles left. So actually, he doesn't have a longer gun because all he has left is his gun. Does Night Raid see him? Is he waiting for the AIM-9 shot?
I'm not sure. He's out of. He does have the 7s though.
I don't think he sees him.
I don't think he sees him.
Loco sees him, but I don't think he sees him. I don't think he still sees him.
Yeah, I was say it didn't look like it. Tough to tell.
So Loco definitely sees him.
Zoom in on the pilot.
Oh, but Loco's got a 120 coming at him. So Loco had to defend, and Loco gets taken down. You guys can see that out in the distance. There goes an AIM-7. We can actually see a bunch of stuff being launched from multiple things going on. Now we've got Skittles being chased by Night Raid. So there's Night Raid. Skittles is recommitting against him in that merge. So Skittles is now 1v2. There goes an AIM-9 from Skittles into Night Raid's F-14. That's a good shot. I think that's going to connect. No! That went right, Buzz. It does! So close! And there goes an AIM-7. The AIM-7 may be able to get there. That's good track from the AIM-7. I think we may see an AIM-7 kill. We do! The AIM-7 finally did something. Finally! Oh, but Skittles has an AIM-120B coming on him from Airy, and then he gets taken down. Stuff started happening, and then it didn't stop.
Yeah, that started popping up pretty quick there at the end.
Now it's a 1v1. Airy against Shades, or Arai against Shades. Arai has nothing left. Does Shades have anything left? Shades has nothing left. This is mano-y-mano. M61 against M61. Merge, guns only. This is how round 1 is going to be decided. I thought this was going to be a good round, and this is a good round. We haven't seen guys come to blows with nothing.
It looks like Shades is out of gas here too, though, according to
No! He's got a chance. He's at a decently high altitude.
You got no speed.
He could maneuver kill. I can see Arai down there. But remember, Arai still has to kill him with guns. And the Tomcat can take a punishment.
That sucker will burn right there pretty darn quick.
Yeah, it will. The 16 does not have a lot of ammo.
No, it does not.
Let's go to split screen and watch both of these guys' perspectives as they ingress towards the fight. Arai definitely sees Shades. Shades is not paying attention to anyone.
Well, Shades, I don't think can do a whole lot. He doesn't have a whole lot of maneuverability right now, right? I mean, he's out of gas. He's kind of coasting. He needs to kind of look for the opportunity to pull in and get a shot. But he's in a very difficult position to try to do anything at the moment.
Arai coming up on the 6. Does Shades know he's there? Gun rounds, and they miss! Arai blows his open opportunity against Shades. That's really unfortunate. And Shades seeing Arai now, diving, gaining some energy back. And we're unsure of what Arai's fuel situation is too. So Arai could be very low.
Big swing and a miss there.
Another swing and a miss as Arai tries to get another gun solution onto Shades, but Shades turns inside of his turn circle.
Shades has got a little bit of time here where he can use this momentum, but this spiral is reducing altitude really quickly here, and there's no going back up once he gets down there.
Yep. Shades doing a really good job of staying out of the danger zone. He is. Well. But I think he's down to 100 knots. He's in trouble. We're at 3,000 feet. Still dodging him. Arai, you gonna pull out of that?
German air tactical.
Arai, guys, reminder, Shades has no fuel. And finally, Arai gets some rounds on target and causes an engine fire, and then Shades loses his right horizontal stab and finally meets his doom. But at what cost? We have no idea what Arai's fuel situation is.
Yeah, I mean, almost comical, though, to think that what was the distance to Bullseye that either of these teams are going to have to make it back?
That's a good question.
I mean, if you look at where we are fuel-wise now, this is I get the feeling like venture into the comical territory here.
I don't know. Let's have a look. So Arai, and guys, if I'm not saying his name right, let me know.
We're definitely not anywhere close to 100% of the name game.
He has 120 miles to go. 120 miles. So there is a tanker. They do have a tanker they can use.
I just know right now from my experience in the 16, when you go that far, have to get in a fight and then have to turn around and get back. If you are not very much so thinking about it, you basically you're gonna struggle to have enough gas to get back. You really have to be conscious about the fact that you're gonna need at least 2,000 pounds of gas to get back from something like that.
Right. Do we think he's gonna be able to make it back? I mean, you could make it back with less than 2,000 pounds. I mean, you could make it back if you did really well in your fuel management with under 1,000 pounds. But you've got to be paying attention to your fuel management. And you've got to be knowing the engine RPM that you need to take to be able to get back to altitude, and then not overdo your engine RPM so you're not overusing your fuel flow.
Yeah, I mean, fuel management here clearly, I think we can say probably going to end up being the theme of this match, and how these guys use the fuel along a bubble that is as far away from home base as it is. So I think a lot of lessons to be learned here for the guys who may be flying these length matches in the future.
Bullet, the voice is different? Don't know. Oh, so Diet Love Chest X-Ray says he can only tank off the one up north. Oh, because you can't use the snorkel on the A50. He can only use, on the MPRS, he can only use the normal KC-135.
Yeah, because the MPRS one is a ruse. It has a boom, but that sucker does not extend. It doesn't do anything.
Right.
I don't know. I think that's a Razbam
deal.
He
rickrolls you.
Yeah, I'm pretty
all over
sure
the place.
It's like I remember they put it in, and neither the drogue nor the boom worked for a little bit, and then now I think just the drogue works, but the boom doesn't. So I'm guessing around F-15E time we see the boom work on the Razbam tanker. Just a little DCS math there for you.
Right. Yeah, it's You think he makes it back? I mean, he's definitely worried about fuel. He's only at 240 knots, indicated at 90% engine RPM. So fuel is definitely a problem. He's definitely worried about it. If I had to bet, I think he makes it back.
I still struggle. I once again, I've not watched a bit of this, but I'm gonna make a guess here that fuel is a thing in the rounds after this.
Yeah,
I struggled to see that it isn't.
250 knots is max conserved. I think it's pretty close. He's at 30,000 feet, so he's going to be doing pretty well on fuel flow. You don't want to be fast because you're increasing your fuel flow rate. I think he should be fine.
Yeah, it's looking like he's got the altitude. How far did you say he was?
Well, last we checked, he was 120 miles. I think he's down to 100? Somewhere in there? Roundabouts? Let me check. So distance is 95 miles. Right around 100. 30,000 feet. He's accelerating now, 283 knots. So, like to see him just keep right around 250 because as he increases his speed, he's going to be increasing his fuel flow. What? Bullet says F-18 mil power climb 400 knots to 0.85 Mach at 40,000 feet. Yeah, it makes sense. What is it for the 16 though? Is it the same? It's probably pretty close.
I would assume it's around the same. Probably a little different though, just on power to weight, right?
I think he's going to be fine. I mean, now he's down to 76% engine RPM. He'll be fine, unless he's already about ready to run out of fuel. But as long as he gets within 50 or 40 miles, he should be able to glide back.
Bullet flexing that airline pilot math right there. I like it.
What was their downfall? I mean, what was Baby Shaker's downfall? They did so well at the beginning.
Fuel management to part of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I think the early ambitious use of Phoenixes from long range, I mean, both teams did it. But in the end, it came down to if they would have had one at the end.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a consistent theme in SATAL in general is, conservation of missiles, good shot selection, that type of stuff. I mean, it seems to be a reoccurring theme. And I think it's a difficult thing, I think, to get mastered down and to show some control in those situations and not shoot when your brain wants you to. And that type of stuff is definitely takes, I think, a bit of time and practice to get. I think that's something we saw a lot with the Diamond League teams, where you talk about guys who have a lot of SATAL experience in the decision making and the kind of the mission planning. I think that goes in with some of those teams versus the Gold League teams where, those are the things that are talked about, it feels like, before a lot of those Diamond League matches and then the things that those guys kind of think about going into it.
Yeah.
As where in Gold League, I don't know as much planning and preparation we're seeing and if these conversations are happening beforehand. Because it does feel like it's a consistent theme, with the early long shots.
I actually think he has to go all the way to Krimsk.
Oof. So that's a long way to go for a plane with a little bit of gas in it.
I think that's where he has... I can't tell. I don't remember what this mission name is. It's definitely not Makop. And I don't know where he's going. I don't remember where he took off from. Does anybody in chat know where he has to go?
I don't remember either.
Because I don't remember. I guess I can check.
Chat,
don't ruin it for me.
I can walk. I can. I'm gonna pull the page up here.
Krasnodar Center. Yeah, it's Kras Center. He has to go to Kras Center.
That's not as bad.
I guess he was just he was lost a little bit here.
How far is he from Kras?
Kras Center. He's still got 75 miles to go, so he's still got a decent way to go here. So this is where he is on the map. He's just east of Makop. He's got some. He's still got a ways. 70% engine RPM coming down to 213 knots. Bullet says the 16 can glide well. Indeed, it can. The 18 cannot. The 18 falls like a brick. It's really the only aircraft in DCS that does that.
16, I believe, has I forgot what the chemical type is that kicks on and it runs off a different fuel type, I think, for like a few minutes after the gas tanks extinguish or run out, right? So it stays alive based on a different type of fuel or something along the lines. I forgot what it's called.
Hydrazine.
Hydrazine, there we go, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, there you go. 16 has hydrazine generator, exactly. Yep. And that allows it to operate and run and get that FCS still cranking and moving and doing all the things it needs to do to keep the plane flying.
Yeah. I think he's going to be fine, though he is continually getting slower. Oh, man. I was up too late. Couldn't go to sleep. Are you guys getting hit by that hurricane, or is that just up north?
Nah, that hit the other coast. I'm all set. I think at the worst we may have a little. We thought it might be tough to get gas, but I don't think that's going to be the case. It doesn't look like it was too terrible. It looks like the Carolinas may get it a little worse than we did down here. I think it strengthened up as it
There's
pushed.
some guys in my squadron that are from the Carolinas, so hopefully they do okay. It's just a Cat 1 though, right?
I believe. I don't even think it was that by the time when it rolled.
It's just a
Florida.
tropical storm at this point.
I think it moved up to hurricane in the last like 24 hours.
Mr. E, it's exciting. I'm just tired, right? I'm tired. I was up till 1. I had to get up at 6:30 because my daughter doesn't freaking sleep ever. She's 1.5 and she will not go to bed. So my wife put her to sleep, and then she wants to wake up early, and then she wants to watch her movies, and she's just poking you. And it's, man, pain in the butt.
Separate note, I don't know if everyone know, earlier I was looking off screen and I had a pretty interesting reaction to my face. There's a lot of videos coming out of Lebanon in a massive explosion that occurred at the port in Lebanon. I mean, the videos are absolutely remarkable. It's one of the larger explosions in a
fuel depot
urban area. I mean, I don't know. I'll post a link to you. I mean, it's pretty wild. Let me try to grab the most friendly looking one here. But I mean, it's pretty remarkable here. I'll post this right now. I mean, the shockwave, the explosion amongst the buildings is a sight to see. Is it a fireworks ship? I don't know, man. It looks a little bigger than that. I mean, the videos coming in from it are pretty remarkable. It looks like there was a fire, something caught, something was already, it flaming up, and then something just explodes in the middle of it. I mean, it is. Whew.
Let me take a look. Let's see.
Yeah, take a look. Pretty insane. Yeah, I mean, you start searching Twitter for it. I mean, there's a ton of videos of it. It's remarkable. You see almost every single video, the person who's filming it is almost blown back, and the camera moves as the shockwave. I wonder
what that is.
I mean, not stuff we've never seen before, but the same note, really interesting place for something like that to happen. Who knows? I mean, normally that's the type of stuff you see out of China.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be. And the only thing from a U.S. arsenal that would do that would be a Moab, but we're not there. I don't think.
Jamie, bring that up. Yeah, we could use somebody like that. Mongoose Maggoose, why don't you hop in and do a little producing for us? Get on the board there, play some video clips and whatnot.
For what?
I said he was referring to Jamie, bring that up. It's like, yeah, we can use the Jamie.
That'd be nice. I would like that. But Arai, back to the round at hand, is doing remarkably well. He's descending 20,000 feet, still maintaining just over 200 knots indicated, down to 65% engine RPM. So I think he's going to be fine. And we see...
It's 2%. His RPM is 2% too low. Yeah, that's a good observation.
So Kraz Center's just on the other side of the lake.
Yeah, the chemical one in China was the one I was thinking of for sure. It was in like a port area similar to that.
I think he's descending too fast.
I mean, what's okay? Krasendar's at that back right corner of that lake right there, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Just off to the right side there. Yep. I mean, that's... What's his altitude?
17,000 feet.
I'm hesitant to think this is going to play out well, but who knows?
He needs to start adding engine RPM. He's falling too fast. Unless he's falling to 10,000 feet and then he's going to add engine RPM. I don't know what he's doing.
No, that doesn't seem like the most efficient way to go about it.
For anyone just joining us, this is SATAL 2020. I'm your host, Moltar, joined as always by Billy Wall Merlin. If you guys want to join for any reason, just join for Billy's mustache. He grows it just for you. This match is Gold League Baby Shakers taking on German Tactical Air Group, and G-Tag has partially won the round, but they have to RTB in order to complete it. So Arai, having finished a 1v1 merge and taking out Shades in an F-14, who was out of fuel and put out a masterful defensive show without fuel, mind you, against him, ended up coming out on top at the end and is now RTB, and we're surmising that he himself is very, very low on fuel. So he's been RTB for quite some time. He's been limping at home on what we can guess is just fumes, because he's been under 60% RPM for a very long time. He's now down to 14,000 feet.
And thanks for that other video, Gordo. That's interesting. That's
Yeah, Gordo. Appreciate that. Quick shout out to a couple people. Gordo B has gifted a few subs to T89 Timothy and Roundabout. Much appreciated. Xander gifted one earlier. Who did he gift that to? Xander gifted one earlier to Viper Wolf. Welcome. And then Man Bear Pig subscribes, says, looks like it may be a long match today. Well balanced. It is indeed well balanced. I mean, I had a feeling we were going to be in for something today, and that's exactly what's ended up happening. We're round one. Man, I missed initially that Phoenix shot that came in low against Saber, but we were able to kill the track and come back and get it. And I think in the future, I need to get this set up, hopefully before Thursday's match. I'm going to run another track that's about a minute behind, just so we can utilize it in these situations. In case we miss something, we can pause it and then just jump to that track, and maybe I can utilize it for other camera angles, but we did miss that. Man Bear Pig, so thank you for that. Gordo B gifted another sub to Gamma Munu. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I'm going to have to name this channel the Gordo B channel. I said that last time, but
it's
just
not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. DCS World Events brought to you by Gordo B.
Yeah, he's going to need his own sponsor stinger. He's also a patron on the Patreon.
Well, I mean, it's guys like him that make this capable of happening, right? I mean, it's all part of it at the end of the day. So, people that support us here doing that, definitely a big part of how this is able to happen.
Gordo, oh, he ejected. He ran out of fuel.
Is that?
Oh man. What a change of events. So this goes down in a tie. Man, I thought he was going to make it back. I thought he was going to make it back for sure. But he didn't. He had to eject. So all that time trying to make it back, he gets within like 30 miles of his intended airfield and then has to call it quits. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Man. So they tied the round, which means we're going to see another 2. At the very least, we are going to see another 2 rounds. So this match is either going to end in a tie or somebody's going to come out with it with 2 wins. But 3 rounds today, baby. I'm excited about this one. I'm going to send you guys to a fan video while I get the next round set up. Enjoy it. It's going to be random. No idea whose it is. There was no supercut for today's match. With a little bit of confusion. There will be one for Thursdays, but there was no supercut for today. So I'm going to send you guys to a random fan video while I get the next round set up. This is going to be round 2 between, and actually, that's wrong. Baby Shakers did not win that round. This is going to be round 2 between Baby Shakers and German Tactical Air Group. So enjoy the fan video. I will see you guys back here in just a minute. If I can find the fan video. There we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like the music was just restarting while that was going on. Second round coming at you. I don't have time today for a TAC-View debrief. I have to go pick up my brother somewhere before 2, and I think Billy has to be somewhere too, so we don't have time to get into the TAC-View bits of it. So I'm just getting the second round going on. But Billy, how did you think that round went? Tomcats again are forced to be reckoned with. I just think people don't know how to fight them yet. They just don't know what to do against an incoming missile with that much burn time.
That's a fair point. And I mean, for me, I think, the comical part is now as we're starting to see these long range matches come in, the notion that guys can do that much fighting when you have to travel that far, that to me, I think has been one of the more interesting points of this match. And I'm curious how we see them deal with that throughout the rest of the match. And frankly, I hope the other teams that may be playing in these matches are paying attention, because I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned there as far as, your game plan once you get into the bubble, when you do have to put this kind of distance into it. So I think you have to be a lot shorter with what you're going to do in there. You have to try to accomplish more in less time with less energy, I think, at the end of the day, because when you think about it, now you have to do the same job, but with far less fuel than you did with some of the other different type layouts. So it's a huge factor, as we saw in that match. I mean, nobody even made it back through that. So like I said, I think that is going to end up being the big factor in today's match, more so than the missiles or the airframes. So like I said, I'm curious to see what lessons those guys learn from that first round into round 2, and see how they kind of adapt and play that fuel game, hopefully a little better.
Adaption is key to victory. But on that note, let's jump into the sim. We're going back to Maycop. We're going to watch G-Tag this time taxi out and take off here, or sorry, not Maycop, at Mozdok, and see how they're going to get on, and if they are able to adapt and maybe make the outcomes a little bit more in their favor for this upcoming round 2. We're tied at 0 apiece going in to this best of 3. Do you think, predicting-wise, do you think we're going to see any more Tomcats? Or not Tomcats, but Phoenix kills? When we just talked about adaptation. I'm really curious to see if they do indeed adapt, or if they put themselves to the point where they're just way too defensive, and then we go into what you were just talking about making the fuel even more of a thing, right? Where they're too defensive, they linger too far out on the perimeter for too long, and when the fighting finally starts, they're so low on fuel that nobody's able to really finish it, which is really what I think happened in round 1. They were too defensive, nobody wanted to commit, and they just ran out of fuel.
Yeah, no, and that's a very good point. Like, you cannot do that with this length of a match. You have to get in there and you have to fight almost immediately, because if you hang around and you use that fuel up, you're just jeopardizing your ability to get back and actually win the match. So I think that you really have to maximize your time in the bubble and have a plan and be ready to stick through it. And guys have got to be good about not using burner or not really pushing the hammer unless you're moving in on a kill. Unless you need that energy to actually shoot a weapon, you shouldn't be using it. You should be very much so guarding that as much as possible.
Right.
So I think that is certainly one of the things to take away here, that if you're not sure, or things don't look right in there, that can be a big problem, because you have to improvise, adapt, and overcome pretty quickly there when things don't go your way inside the bubble.
So Gamma Munu actually asks a very interesting question. He asks, if Arai would have turned right back home and made it, would that have counted as win? It would have, because Shades would have been dead. If the guy dies in the bubble and you leave and you're the only one left alive and you're able to RTB, because let me back up. You would have to be in the bubble. Somebody would have to be in the bubble to control it when he died, right? But if you were on the very edge of the bubble and then he died, then you were able to go home, you would have won. You don't have to control it for 5 minutes. You just have to control it, right, at the very end. Because if you're the only one left, it's your bubble. So you just have to go home. Just watching these guys taxi. I think the biggest issue with the teams in round one was their unwillingness to commit on really anything. They waited too long, and their fuel got to such a deprived state that when they did decide to commit, they just didn't have the fuel to really turn this into the long game. Looks like they're actually starting to roll. Yep. So the Tomcat's a little late, but these guys are already starting to take off. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the sitting around on the runway too. I mean, that's something you don't really think about, but the longer you do that, and you don't top your fuel off immediately before you leave. I mean, every gallon or every pound counts.
Every
here,
percentage matters.
Yeah,
Yep.
Especially when you're talking this distance and what you have to do. This isn't a cap sortie where there's a chance you may run into contact or a chance you may not. You're gonna fight. It's gonna be intense and you're gonna burn through fuel. So you have to take every part outside of that and be as conservative and be as absolutely as efficient as possible. Otherwise, you're just gonna have trouble. And did we ever see a Diamond League match with distances this great? I know they got out
not
longer
yet.
than what we normally have been seeing recently, but I don't know if we've ever seen. This might be some of the longer distances I think we've ever seen on SATAL, right?
Yeah, this is one of the longest matches we've ever seen. Major Kavik asks, if the cat had landed in a field, would he have been counted as dead? Yes. If you do not land at the base you took off from, you're dead. And actually, in the server, if you land anywhere but your base, you blow up. And that's just to stop people from landing and then looking around because, I'm not dead. I can give my other people, ability, which is something you can do in real life, I guess. But I think in real life, pilots are probably just going to eject if they run out of fuel. They're not going to try and put it down on some runway somewhere. But we did see a really early departure from Saber, from G-Tag, and then everybody else is still on the runways. I don't know if that was intentional or he left accidentally. That's kind of interesting. I don't know what's going on here.
Is he running?
Running.
Looks like engine running.
Yeah, they're all running. The Tomcat just arrived. This guy, they say, is spooled down. But the 16 doesn't take very long to spool up.
No. I was gonna say, but because I was gonna say, looking at that exhaust, it looks like the engine's not on.
Yeah. The guy to our right is on. I can hear him. This guy's not on. Doom Sniper says, is this meta or out of bubble play? I don't know. The PvP servers just need to get on our level. Put the bubble in.
No, I think maybe I'm misinterpreting this, that he was referring to what these guys were doing right now by staying back. And I don't know if that's what he was referring to. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Somebody else said. Leckle says, is the server able to tell if it's a runway overrun or just counts all non-running? It's a bubble around the airfield. So if you land in the vicinity of the airfield and you don't die, it counts as you landed. The key there is don't die. It doesn't mean you can eject. Your plane has to come down and intact. But let's say you land and then all of a sudden your plane flips over, but you don't blow up and you're still in the cockpit. Well, you're not dead and your plane didn't blow up. So that would be a successful landing, at least in SATAL's eyes. So as long as you make it back to base, your plane doesn't blow up, and you're alive, that counts.
I mean, it is downright fucking special at that point.
You probably shouldn't be in an aircraft, and you probably shouldn't be allowed next to a control stick ever again, but you know what? That counts.
I want to start being like Dana White and handing out T-shirts for wild stuff, or like how they give like extra money for crazy stuff at UFC. Just start handing out T-shirts for people who do wild stuff like that. Like you landed, rolled over 3 times, and somehow didn't die. Like that deserves a T-shirt. Sorry.
Yeah, it does. Which reminds me, you're talking about T-shirts. We do have a T-shirt giveaway.
Oh, that's right.
That we'll be doing at the end of the stream. So after round 3, because there's gonna be a round 3, since the first one ended in a tie, there will be a shirt giveaway. So stick around. Stick around. Have your chance at winning a T-shirt from Wild Weasel Apparel. Gordo B gifted another gifted sub to Amber Dream. think I'm saying that right. I'm terrible with names. But thank you very much. Task Force Trident says, what if someone lands inside the bubble, but another guy is able to leave the bubble from the opposing team and land at home? The map would not tell the team who had it home. They have control of the ball. If you land, Task Force Trident, anywhere outside of your home base, you blow up. Like, if you land in the bubble, there's a script that causes you to blow up. So you'll be dead. You don't have to worry about that. That's why that script exists.
Wow, the video Bullet just sent me. Whew, of that explosion. I mean, it looks like somebody was next to it.
Well,
It's like
camera may be alive, but he may not be.
I mean, 3 different videos. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to share this on there.
Something must have been going on for people to whip out their cameras. Because I'm always
Yeah.
amazed at how many people get have their cameras out for situations like this. How do you know?
It looks like this guy is like standing in the middle. This is insane.
But do people just walk around with their camera taped to their forehead? I don't know. Xander says yes. I guess. GoPro helmets on. I guess that's a thing. I must just not be in the world meta. Xander also says ground kills all. The ground has the best kill to death ratio of anybody. You can sometimes get away. Usually you're scathed if you just come down and touch it. But man, oh man, she'll reach out and touch you if you try and kiss her a little bit too hard. Eclipse Task Force, you got to spell TACView right. There you go. This is a long map. So Kraz Center to Mozdok, 260 miles. So just getting into the AO and then turning around and going home is over 500 miles of flight. I think that dictates the use of a third tank, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. And I'd love to hear maybe some of the Milsim guys out there. There's probably some math you can do to tell us if you got 500 miles of traveling round trip, like how much flight time do you have? Because that's a huge number to know there, because these guys, once they get into that bubble, you set the timer and you know how much time you have roughly, based upon certain factors and values. I think that's especially for these long ones, it's an important number to know, really how much time you have, and what you can and can't do as far as engine usage inside that bubble.
Well, I think people would be also shocked to know the longevity that these aircraft can stay in the air. People have a tendency to fly them at way too high an engine RPM, ingressing and egressing, and they're like, oh, my fuel economy, fuck! But really, they can stay in the air a lot longer than people give them credit for.
Well, it's all about how you use what you got, right? From Millsburg perspective, that's dependent with that consideration so much in SATAL, so that flight profile is a little different. Absolutely, I would agree with that. But and someone above it, I believe 550 nautical miles of traveling. Damn, that gives you about 5 minutes. Yeah, I'd say somewhere in and around 5 minutes is what I had in my head. I don't know where the actual numbers lie in that. I'm sure we'd probably need to get an IRL Viper pilot in here to really discuss that type of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's not a lot of time. At the end of the day, it's certainly far less time than you would have on some of the other layouts within SATAL, right? So, I mean, the game, and then you couple that in with the B weapons choice too, and it makes this, I'd say, probably one of the harder layouts you can do in SATAL as far as a planning perspective and actually being able to be successful out here at it, right?
For sure. Devil's Garage asks, how do you go about getting a team into these events? Well, in order to get into SATAL, you have to get in when the event's getting going. We started, I think registration closed the beginning of April, maybe March. I think it was April or sometime in April. So registration opens once a year. Teams sign up, and then it's a year-long league that we've been running since May, and we'll complete sometime early January for the league, and then we run an end-of-the-year tournament based on the league standings. So you definitely want to do better because it dictates home field advantage. You'd be able to choose your weapon restriction, all that stuff. So you got to make sure that you get in when registration's open, which is typically March, April, and you just got to be ready for the long haul. It's about 8 matches per team for the league, so it's not horrible. You fly a competitive match roughly once every 3 weeks or so. So it's not awful. And sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. You just got to make do with what the schedule tells you to do. But that's how you get into it.
Borchi making a really good point there. Yeah, if you're not setting your bingo here for what you know you need to get back on a minimum, like that is probably mistake number one. That's a solid observation.
Well, your bingo needs to be higher than what you could get back.
Right, exactly.
Right?
You're going to want to add a little.
Because you could still be in a fight at that point when you get bingo.
Correct.
Very easily, especially if you're in a merge and you're going around and around and around. Very easily.
There's Joker and there's Bingo, right? So Joker, I believe, is what you would ideally want to leave with, and then Bingo is what you need to leave with. I mean, I don't know if that's the proper definitions there, but a roundabout way of defining that.
Yeah, I don't know how that would actually be used in
you want
real
to get
combat.
1,000 pounds reserve for the Joker minimum. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There is I've been reached out to by ED and Mover, CW Lemoyne, to do Folds of Honor again. So or Fights for Honor. So that's should be coming hopefully in the next couple months. We got to get things organized and things like that. We're just trying to get things going. So hopefully we'll be doing that again. So if anybody has questions about the 16, I mean, CW was a real Viper pilot. So that would be a pretty good time to ask any of these questions. So hopefully that'll come to fruition again. One thing I'm noticing here, Billy, in this round in comparison to last is these guys are taking their sweet time on the ingress. Unlike last time where it seemed like everybody was going a little bit faster, a wee bit quicker into the action zone.
Yeah, so that goes back to, what are the lessons learned by each one of these teams in round one? And it does look like, okay, we maybe probably pushed the hammer a little bit too long and a little bit too hard in that first round. Let's try to be a little bit more conservative here and see what we can make it back. But it honestly, maybe they did, but it didn't feel like either of these teams knew what amount of gas they needed to get back with. Then I think that point from Borchi earlier, easily one of the most important aspects of this type of mission.
Well, it's something that you gain with experience, right?
Well, correct. And we can agree, you do all the fighting you want, get all the kills you want, but if you don't make it back in SATAL, you don't finish, you don't win, right? So that, I think, probably being the most paramount aspect of this specific fight is that fuel gain.
Okay, so a couple bookkeeping things that I want to point out is people had suggested that there be a list for people, newcomers and stuff, with what gear they should buy and stuff. I made some Amazon blacksmith lists down below. If you guys want to take a look at those from beginner, amateur to pro, I mean, you don't necessarily need to be, it's just what I called the list. For stuff, a lot of the flight sim gear isn't available on Amazon, so take it for what it is, but especially the beginner list, I think a lot of people will find that that's pretty appropriate. And even the amateur list is pretty appropriate for what people would want or want to have for certain skill levels of flight and how much money they want to spend. Obviously, you don't need to be a beginner to buy that. You could be a beginner and buy the pro gear. It doesn't really matter. It is what it is. A lot of it's just income or monetary limited. I mean, some people spend huge amounts of money on gear and some people don't. It just comes down to what you like. I like my toys. And
I do too.
I have accumulated. My wife looks at me like, what is in this box? A lot of times when things show up at the house. Well,
I actually just picked up a autopilot panel for 2020. Well, it's technically for X-Plane right now, but for 2020, shortly here, the Real Sim gear is basically just an autopilot deck for all that stuff, and super excited. Fits into the pit real nice. Always nice to get a new piece of gear. I believe I can use it for DCS as well. I got my radio volume set to the 2 different knobs on there. So, I mean, it's nice. A lot of this stuff you can buy for one thing and use for a bunch of different other stuff. So, I always enjoy kind of like, okay, well, how many different ways can I use this thing Just the process you go through when you try to figure out what you're adding to the pit is almost something to be in itself there.
God damn it. Keep pushing the wrong button. Who asked if I bought the vape? Roundabout asked if I've added the vaping kit. No, I don't. I've never smoked anything in my life. I've never done any type of drugs. I don't like it. I don't know. I don't like feeling altered. It's that way with medication and stuff too. It's just not a fan of any of it. No Will says Moltar makes you spend money. I've been told I have that effect on people. Tell people about all the cool things in life, make them want to buy them, and make people want to buy them, and it's just, I don't know. What can I say? I'm a good spokesperson.
And Roundabout, I smoke and vape, and I specifically do not do it on camera for reasons like that. I avoid doing that on camera at all costs. There's just no need for it.
Roundabout says Moltar's holding you down, twisting your arm to buy things. Yeah, I've got unlimited airline miles, so I usually just show up at people's houses and run into their rooms and hold them down and smack them in the face until they want to buy them. I don't know what German Tactical Air Group is doing. They're turning around? This is hugely defensive by both teams. If we take a look at the map, we've just kind of been chilling and hanging out while people were ingressing here. Nobody's really committing, even more so than we saw in round one. I think fuel is going to be even more of an issue here in this round, Billy, than we saw in round one.
Agreed.
With the lack of commitment going into this fight.
I think solid observation from Silver. It looked like they went in, assumed there was going to be Phoenix shots coming. The other side didn't. Neither side shot. But both sides did kind of what we've been talking about here. They both went in, feigned like they were going to shoot, didn't shoot, and came back and went cold. Now it creates an interesting scenario here because now nobody just got RWR warnings, and I think we're seeing that aspect of things kind of get discussed amongst the group here, right? Like they're figuring out what to do here because they didn't do what they were expecting, and they didn't do what they were expecting. So now we have that situation where either team's trying to figure out what to do next.
I mean, Doom Sniper, you can leave the bubble. You just can't come back in. If you come back in, you blow up.
I mean, who's got the gas for that here? I mean, that just seems insane.
I know. One problem I see, Billy, is some of the F-16s still have their third tank on their center line.
I mean, just
you gotta jettison that. You gotta get rid of it.
Drag
has
is
to go.
So important on your fuel efficiency. I mean, that is a major part of that. You really want to, I try to when I'm in the Hornet. Say I'm taking 3 bags in the Hornet. I want to cycle. I want to override certain tanks so it pulls from the bottom one first, and I can jet that, clean up the fuselage or clean up the plane a little bit. Not as if the bottom tank in the Hornet makes a ton of difference on the overall drag of the airframe. It's actually pretty good in comparison to say the 16 in that drop tank on the bottom. But nevertheless, you want to think about those type of things, right? And you want to maximize your drag through the air to help maximize your fuel efficiency, which, as we keep saying here, is very important. So be curious to see who makes it back and what different things we see people doing right now and whether that plays into who actually does make it out of it.
Let's take a look at some of the other 16s. Looking at Arai on G-Tag, he too has a center line tank. Is this going to be a theme for the German Tactical Air Group side? Are we seeing center lines? We're seeing center lines on everyone.
I mean, most of the time you barely get to altitude without being able to drop that center line.
What about the 14s? 14s have their tanks on, and actually, if we flip back, I just moved to Night Raid, and there went the first missile of the match. It's a Phoenix coming from Night Raid. And that was launched from... Can't tell. That was launched from 42 miles. So not an awful shot. But I don't think these guys are going to be fast enough to make that a particular threat. But they could be slow enough that they're not able to effectively defend and get down out of altitude
I'll tell you
as
what,
quick
one
as
nice
they want.
feature that 16 has for stuff like this is the ability to take that dead, put the fuel on it, and then also flip it to the HUD, right? So you can have that fuel flow, not that fuel flow, pardon me, the fuel amount in both your tank and then your bingo right in that HUD. So you're staring at that a lot of, majority of the time as you're fighting, which I've found myself that to be a very valuable feature to have there to keep your head in the game. And I believe somebody else pointed to, I believe it was Borchi again, that fuel flow number being nice and big and up on that dash. I mean, those guys have that advantage there. And say to the 14, where, I think anyone who's on the 14 knows to monitor your fuel flow it's not as easy as it is in that 16, right? You really got to kind of make an effort to look down there and identify where that fuel flow is. And not that that's not something that we all don't, have a feel for just based on our throttle position and our altitude, but still checking that gauge and having that thing very visible, I think is important here.
This missile's steadily getting closer, but it's steadily getting slower. And I think she's trashed. 600 knots, 500 knots, coming right across the tail end of Skittles. And Skittles split S maneuver there to get away from it, bled all of its remaining energy. And that was decent. If they would have stayed high, they would have been in a lot more trouble than they were. Decent defensive maneuvers. I like that Shades and Skittles were able to stay close together. I really like that. But now we see that Gozer and Papa are now launching 30-mile 120Bs. Guys, just wait. A lot of times if you STT these guys, it's more than enough to get somebody to turn around. You don't necessarily need a missile to be able to do this. Just save them. You're in 16s. You only have 6 missiles. You only have 6. Save them.
I do like that they took the extra 120s instead of the 9Ms. I feel like when you're talking 9Ms, you're much better off having those 120s in place of that. So did like to see that
for sure. Let's see if we can grab.
Which in chat, maybe you may be able to answer this, or chat may be able to help me out here. Which one of the one of the Phoenixes is the one that travels upward more efficiently than the others? I believe there's one that will go uphill better than the rest. I just don't remember which one it is. I thought it was the Mark 60s that do that better, but I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the Mark 47s. I don't know. I always mix this up. The longest burned.
I'm trying to get these
biggest motor. Okay, yeah, the 60s, I believe.
These targets.
It's the burn motor that gives them the better uphill capacity. Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm trying to track what's going on. This Phoenix that was launched by Shades is now trashed, and there's just so many missiles being launched that aren't doing anything. So multiple 54s being launched by Skittles from 30 miles. That's not a bad shot, I guess, but just wait.
Slightly cold aspect. I mean, the vertical closure just can't be there for that.
Maybe that's 3 Phoenixes launched by Skittles. He's saying launch all the things. I can't support this.
Did he have a Rio? Maybe there was a little miscommunication.
Maybe
one guy pushing, the other guy pushing at the same time.
Maybe, but this lead Phoenix is going to get passed by the trailer.
But the closure rates just didn't look like they were there. Although some of these guys are turning around, which may end up working out to his benefit there.
Maybe.
Looks like Ari may be heading back into what could be danger. Same with now Gozer. Looks like he's clean. He's just faded that one to the south.
It's possible, but Night Raid's over Mach 1, and all 3 of these Phoenix that were launched at Night Raid are all going to be stacked on top of each other. You can see them in the map that they're all passing one another. You might as well have just launched one.
And that's a solid point from Jazzy there too. These guys not just giving away the fact that they've shot by pulling out that quickly, supporting a little longer, especially at those ranges where you're going to have some time to evade and whatnot. Holding that aspect a little longer is going to feign that the shot maybe came out a little later than it did, right? So when you're playing the reaction game, I think that can be a beneficial tactic or strategy.
Well, and you can tell when it's a Phoenix. You can tell because it says unidentified on your RWR. It doesn't say missile, so you know when you get that Pippa warning how to effectively defend it. And that's 4 Phoenixes going on the same person. Just patience, guys. If you would have waited, like Shades is in a better position now to be able to launch on Gozer. If he would have waited, and now launched on Gozer. Gozer, unless he defended, could have very well been dead.
And
but
look at this, you all separated to the south there. There's going to be tough for those guys to assist him if he gets caught down there.
We didn't lose somebody. Who did we lose?
It looked like we did lose somebody.
I don't know if somebody died.
Maybe they got hit and we're just not seeing them.
Oh, somebody did.
No?
Somebody did get hit. I think it may have been Fratricide.
I can pull up the attack feed.
I don't know what happened. Somebody got hit by a 120 that I guess we missed. But I don't know what happened. Aim 54 coming in on Papa Saber. That is a better shot. So this one is still going to have some juice by the time it reaches its intended target. I don't know that we're going to... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Is it going to be able to keep up with him? No. So he was fast enough over Mach 1. If he wasn't this fast, I don't think that was going to be able to... He would have been able to get away from it. But him being over Mach 1, doing all of those erratic maneuvers, was enough for him to be able to get away from that Phoenix. And we're starting to see these guys getting closer. But Shades, if he would have had weapons left, would have been a lot more effective. I mean, if we jump to his aircraft, he's lagging out a little bit. If we jump to his aircraft, he'd be in a much better position. Oh, he may be dead. Shades is dead. I don't know if he blacked out or what happened there. Oh, it says Shades got shot, so I guess there's a little bit of desync that we're missing.
I'll pull up the attack view and see if I can see what kind of went on there.
But 2v2 or 2v4 now remaining. Baby Shakers are just gone down a hole. 120 coming in. I think that's on Loco. I couldn't really tell. It's actually on his teammate. It's actually on Skittles. 120 coming from him in on Saber. Saber, I don't think he's going to be able to get away from that. He's caught too high. Yeah, Saber gets taken down. He just got caught too high on that one and wasn't able to get away from it. But in the meantime, what's his name? I can't remember, from Baby Shakers, ends up getting taken down by, I'm going to assume, a 120 launch from Saber. So they ended up trading. But now it's Skittles in a 1v2. So Skittles, does he have anything left?
Spock was taken out by a pretty nice long-range shot by Papa, and he just those two were very close. He almost got two of them in the process of it. It was frankly pretty remarkable if you check the attack view out. Spock just doesn't defend in time and gets clipped from a long 120.
Aim 7 coming from Skittles. Is this going to be the second Aim 7 kill of the match? I think it is. I don't think he's going to notch this. Oh, no, he doesn't. So another Aim 7 kill for Skittles. Skittles is able to take down Night Raid, and now it is again a 1v1. Skittles has 2 Aim 9s. I don't know what Gozer has. Gozer has 3 120s. So we've got some weapons remaining. Where is Skittles? Are they turning into each other? They are turning into each other. It should be about co-altitude. Pretty close to one another's nose now. Oh, I guess they're repositioning. Gozer and Skittles have both turned off. Now Gozer's turning back in to his intended target. But I don't see Skittles. There's Skittles. So Skittles is 10 miles out. Skittles is recommitted. There goes a 120 from Gozer. Second 120 from Gozer. Gozer only has 120 left. We're going to go to split view so we can see things coming from both perspectives. Skittles is now defending. 2 120s coming in from Gozer. And I think those were launched from just too far away. You can see them slowly starting to run out of steam. Finally, there go the drop tanks from Skittles, realizing he's carrying around this extra weight. And Gozer, meanwhile, is turned away. So playing field is now much more equal. 1 120 for Gozer and 2 Aim 9s for Skittles. Skittles has recognized that those 120s are now trashed. I don't see Gozer yet. There's Gozer's dot way out there in the distance. So he's over 10 miles away.
This looks like it's shaping up nicely.
Gozer is continuing to press. Skittles is doing a little bit of a serpentine. Skittles just needs to make sure that he doesn't get too close into an unavoidable 120 shot. So 6 miles, 120B. He's really fast, 600 knots. Is he able to get away from this? I think he's going to be fine. He's actually going to run that one in the ground. So Skittles has run Gozer out of missiles. Gozer has no weapons remaining except his M61, and Skittles still has 2 AIM-9. So let's crank up the volume. Music is coming up. Crank up the engine volume. These guys are coming in again, second time in this match. 1v1, mano-y-mano. Who's coming out on top? Now, something to remember is that these guys do not know each other's weapon state. Okay? Skittles is now recommitting against Gozer. I think he's assuming now that since he hasn't gotten a Pitbull warning, that he is out of missiles. Skittles has launched a long AIM-9.
Does he see it? Is the question.
I don't know. We're riding along. I don't think he sees it. There goes the second one. The second missile gets launched. That one misses. So we're down to an all guns fight now. M61 on M61 replay, except we got fuel in this one.
And there's the knife pass.
Who's going to come around this first? Looks like Gozer's got a bit more in the turn rate. No shots. Looks like our left camera's a little bit ahead, so I'm going to pause it real quick. Try and time these up a bit better.
Okay.
Skittles have a shot. Not quite. So these guys just barely aren't able to get their noses on their target.
Like a really inverted 2 circle almost. Now it's kind of flattening out here.
I think Gozer's had a pretty big advantage going into this. He's just been in a better position throughout most of this fight, and you can see now he's got the nose around. He's putting some rounds on. He got 1 round to hit. Was that enough to cause any significant damage onto Skittles? And now Skittles has an advantage coming around in this turn. Gozer's really low on the airspeed and the energy. I'd be really worried, but down there under 300 knots. He's pulling Max G in here. Tomcat, but the Tomcat's in a bit of trouble. He's waffling in low. Is he going to be able to pull out of this? No. So I think he ended up taking some engine damage, and Gozer is able to come out on top. That 1 round hitting the Tomcat, I think, was enough.
And I was curious how many flares, had he turned off his flare jettison while he was chaffing, during the BVR portion of the match, to hopefully have some flares left by the end of it. And it looked like he had enough there to spoof those two missiles. I'd like to see Skittles have a little bit better shot choice with those AIM-9s. I think
if he just would have waited
moments, if he had just held on to one of those things there, he might have been able to take that a little bit quicker.
Yeah, Mongoose says that he was out of fuel. So the Tomcat again ran out of fuel. Man.
And this is where, even if he gets the kill there, you're not making it back.
Probably wouldn't have made it back.
So I think like I said, the fuel management here is such a massive part of winning this type of match in SATAL that I think it's going to take time for teams to really develop a solid strategy on how to win one of these.
Mongoose, yeah, man, if you would have saved at least one of those AIM-9s, maybe launched one head-on, waited a little bit longer from where you did, launched one head-on and then waited and launched that other one in the merge when you had an opportune shot and just waited, because the name of the game is patience. I think one of the biggest problems is with all pilots in DCS is they're not committed enough to the patient game, where if you just wait that little bit longer and just wait till that optimal shot presents itself. I know the nerves are getting in there and we have hindsight. It's you just got to wait. Outweight your opponent. The person that's able to outweight their opponent is the one that's usually going to come out with the W. So, patience. I know you want the easy kill. People want the easy kill, getting those head-on AIM-9 shots. Somebody that's unsuspecting, but they're pretty easy to see if he had you locked up and zoomed in. He's going to be able to see those. I don't know why your AIM-9 went. Well, a head-on shot, your opponent isn't going to be presenting a lot or very much of a heat source because the engine's behind them. So any types of flares or any, if the sun's even remotely close, it's just going to go for that. The AIM-9, if it can see the engine, is nigh unspoofable. So the key there is just to be patient and just wait.
I feel like the X's too are a little better head-on than the M's are.
The X's are a little better head-on.
A little better.
But they're still both not very good at all.
Yeah, I mean, you're just not getting a good look at any hot portion of the jet at that point. You know, you're going off the friction, most of the friction the plane is creating along the surface as it flies.
So take a look at the scoreboard. This is round 2 of Baby Shakers taking on German Tactical Air Group. We are tied at 1 apiece because nobody was able to make it home earlier in round 1. German Tactical Air Group made it close, but they weren't able to make it all the way back. So, so close but no cigar. That applies here. If you're not able to land and the other team asks you to RTB, it really does not matter. So that's all that can happen here is they weren't able to make it back, and that's what's presented himself. I've seen a few more gifted subs from Gordo. Gordo gifted a sub to Borchi848. Welcome. Borchi gifted another one to Silver Phoenix. Another to Tarnfalk. Another to CW Chopper. Jesus. Gordo, I'm going to have to name the fat Spanish man. He's going to have to be a sponsor here. It's just going to have to happen. I'm going to have to give you your own stinger if this keeps up. SATAL 2020, brought to you by the fat Spanish man. Gordo. Or at the very least, I need to give him his own.
Is he Gordo Australian? Or is he in Australia?
I think he's in Australia.
Yeah,
I
right.
think. At the very least, he needs his own emote.
Yeah, there you go. I think he's earned that.
I think he's earned that. So, speaking of which, I applied for partnership. So we're going to have to see if we're able to get that. Last time I applied last year, you guys actually have to see this AWACS view. Check this out. That's pretty nice. Nice 3D modeling.
Lovely interior. On that.
I guess the F4 view or whatever I had on it just put me inside the aircraft. Which
So
it's
the
cool that
people
you
who
can
say
actually see the
AWACS
pilots.
can see everything aren't lying.
I guess
You
not.
can. Just it's really far away.
Not the pilots, but the guys in the back can see everything. But I applied for partnerships. So we applied last year, and Twitch told me that I wasn't streaming enough. We were only streaming on Saturdays. This year we're streaming 3 times a week. We've got more subs. We've got a decent consistent viewer base. I think on Twitch standards we're rather low for partner, but for DCS standards we're the biggest stream in DCS. So hopefully that ends up working out for us. I don't know what partnership gives us. The only thing I know is it gives us the ability transcode options so people can adjust how they want to see the stream. So I could stream in 4K if I wanted to, and everybody could just downgrade their transcode if their bandwidth couldn't support it. And it also gives us more emotes. So Gordo would get his own emote. Emotes are specified based on the number of subs you have. And it gives us the purple check mark that I obviously would have to go into everyone's stream and tell them, hey, check out my check mark. Are you a check mark or official partnered streamer? No, I wouldn't do that. That was an inside joke to people that know what that is. But I don't know what other differences it gives. Oh, it gives us higher bandwidth for uploading to Twitch. But I don't know what else it gives us. So hopefully that ends up working out. I don't know what's going to end up happening there. Let's see how far away we have to go, though. You think he's going to make it back this time, Billy? Fuel's been a serious problem.
I know the answer because I looked at the exact view. So
Oh, you cheater! You cheater!
To see what happened, I started scrolling around. It's gonna happen. I don't want to say anything.
Such a cheater. Such a cheater.
I didn't mean to. It just happened.
They're a lot closer this time though. Gozer's already 65 miles out back to Mozdok, so I think he's got this one. He's at 28,000. No wheels. We already get ad money. It's not a lot. Maybe they increase it. I don't like making you guys watch ads. So I tried that a while ago, and I just felt bad every time I pushed the ad button. I just don't like it. On another subject, kind of on the subject of partnership and making things better, I posted a survey that you can type !survey, and you've probably seen Nightbot say something about it previously. It's just a little survey. There's some questions. I'm actually just going to change it for, just one question where you guys can write anything you want. But I want to know what we can do to make this better. Do we need to have Billy shave his mustache? Do we need to have me grow a goatee? Do I need to be bald? We focus on the hair a lot. But aside from that, what can we do to make these streams better? What would you guys like to see that we're not doing? What would you guys like to see more of? What can we do in the supercuts to make them better? I want your guys' feedback. Don't feel that you need to sugarcoat anything. I might come yell at you in Discord chat. No, I won't do that. But just don't feel the need to sugarcoat anything. I want authentic feedback on what we can do to make SATAL and DCS World Events better. So if anyone doesn't mind just taking a few minutes to fill that out, by no means do you have to fill out every question. Just let me know. CPU 264 rendering, that NVENC's gotten so good, and I'm only on one PC now. I can't bring myself to do it.
I like Roundabout with the Weather Girl idea.
Weather Girl? Who would be the Weather Girl?
That. I follow Barstool Sports, and they're big on that one. That one works out well.
Yeah, but who would be the Weather Girl?
I don't know. We figure it out.
I can't see Lozzie doing it.
It'd be interesting to see if she'd be interested in that.
No, we're not going to play gender roles or anything like that. Maybe you and I should do it. Just get up in Speedos.
It's a very progressive thought.
I don't think anybody wants to see me in a Speedo in my dad bod. But, that's what people are into.
Like a mustache, whether with the mustache segment or something like that.
Mongoose, yes, but the problem with that is I think it removes some authenticity with the stream, because then I'm expecting things to come, and it just, I feel like it can cause some problems.
I was doing it for a little bit too, to that point. Like, I was watching them ahead of time and kind of like keying in on stuff, but there really wasn't, like, there would be a few moments where, like, okay, it's separated. You may want to know that things happen kind of fast and quick here in this instance. But other than that, there really wasn't, I don't think, a whole lot more I was bringing to the table, other than like some notes on telemetry at certain points, like what G's somebody's pulling, or what speed somebody's user service or some things along the lines of that, right? Altitudes and such. But I don't know. It felt like I was watching a lot, and then I would struggle to know what to say. But granted, somebody who's not on camera watching it and providing us with some notes, certainly I don't think would be out of the question. That way it's not. I
mean, if somebody wants to do a third person and it's like in chat with us and just watching stuff, and they're saying, like, right before something happens, they say, hey, you need to watch this. I mean, that may work, but that requires another person to be able to do it. Somebody says to do something like a newscat, like a news briefing. Maybe. But doesn't the news for DCS and flight sims get oversaturated? I mean, I feel like we talk about that into the ground.
I think there's a lot of little places that key in on certain things, but I don't know how many there are that truly kind of wrap up everything that's going on within the community. There's a few. There's actually, maybe I'll talk to you off camera, because there's a guy who does a decent show. Maybe we reach out to him and talk to him about coming in and doing something for us, because I like his content, and I think he does a pretty good job with it. So I don't want to throw that out on here.
Roundabout 60 says not long episodes, just updates between fights. Maybe. I think that comes down to me more pre-planning before I get into anything, right? To pre-plan before what we're going to talk about before the actual stream takes place. And I actually have to fast forward because my brothers were running into a time crunch, and I'm going to have to leave here in not too long. So we're going to fast forward here a little bit and see what ends up happening. I know this isn't everybody's favorite thing, but I'm on a time crunch where I have to actually go pick up my brother, because my wife works from home, but she can't leave because she's working. And I, after getting hit by a delivery truck, have a little bit more freedom.
I live in Florida. I can't leave either.
Well, you have a zombie apocalypse. I wouldn't want to leave.
I mean, there was a
regardless of
zombie
wanting to or
apocalypse
not.
going on long before COVID for anyone who's ever been to a gas station in Florida.
Roundabout, they are boring, but it's part of this. Maybe if you guys want me, if we get a consensus that it's better for me to fast forward through the flybacks, I'm all down for it. Just need to hear what you guys want.
Oh, what's up, Roundabout? I'm over in Tampa, man. Gotta love the Florida people. We're different.
Man Bear Piggott says it would be cool to have mini supercuts of each kill that you could play quick. That's a lot of work.
And that's, I think, part of this when you start looking at some of these different things where it time frame for us is definitely a thing, right? We not only do we have other jobs that we make money with, but we have other things going on within the DCS community that we do, and all that stuff kind of adds up. And I think when you look at the available time to do some of this stuff, it can be a bit much. And now finding people to come in and kind of help with some of that, certainly something maybe we should look at as far as maybe getting some more out of that, or maybe just talking to Alpha Whiskey about chopping up a few of those in smaller format in addition to that large kind of super.
I think it's already a lot of work for him. I'd be happy to bring on somebody else.
Right, to maybe focus on more smaller stuff.
I mean, I'm happy for it. I mean, Alpha Whiskey does awesome work, and I don't want anybody. If anybody wants to do stuff like this, especially like if we talk about it, we say, hey, we'll start this next year. I don't expect people to do this stuff for free. Like Alpha Whiskey, right. He's my video editor. He gets paid. It's not like this is free. So I don't have that expectation of people. Gozer is able to land it, no problem. So they actually finally go up 1-0. And we're going into round 3.
And I don't take money from the whole thing here. That's part of the reason with the Wild Weasel why I kind of brought that type of stuff to this in the first place, was to allow me to have a separate way of bringing in revenue without having to tap in to the SATAL stuff, and allow more to that to go to the stream and more to that stuff to be allocated to stuff like bringing other people in and doing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, German Tactical Air Group comes out, they take it, and are up 1-0 finally. So last round they ended up tying it, or they were tied. Nobody made it back to their base. This round, German Tactical Air Group is able to make it home and are now up 1-0 going into the crucial round 3. So fan video coming at you while I get round 3 set up. And we're going to fast forward a little bit, maybe a little bit faster in this round because I've got time. But round 3 coming at you right after the fan video. So get ready, buckle up. This is winner takes all. Baby Shakers, German Tactical Air Group. Round 3 coming at you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As our face cams pop in, we skipped the takeoff procedure because, you know, honestly, I don't have time, and we're fast forwarding. So these guys are already ingressing. G-Tag took off from Krasnodar Center. Baby Shakers took off from Mozdok. So these guys are already ingressing. They still got a bit of ways to go towards the bullseye. If we take a look at where they're headed, they still got a ways. So separation between the two teams is still 124 miles. God, this map is huge. This mission location is just spread out, which I wanted. When I came up with the mission locations, I wanted everything to be more spread out, so it was just a different dynamic so that teams were able to choose what type of fight they wanted to participate in, and we're finally seeing something other than a medium range fight. We're seeing a longer range one. And there's actually a longer range one than this. A couple of them. There's a Napa versus Mozdok, and there is a Napa versus Tbilisi. In a Napa versus Tbilisi, I think it's 350 miles.
That is brutal, man.
That
is brutal. You have such limited time if you don't tank or utilize tankers
look at
in that
this.
capacity.
Sorry. 390 miles.
So you're talking 200-ish. So you're talking about 400 roughly round trip there.
No.
When you factor in the bubble, or is it?
No. 800 miles round trip.
Oh my God. You just got no. I mean, I hope the teams that do that understand how limited time they have.
There is a tanker, and the tanker's there. You have to use.
But
in those types of situations, it allows you to gate all the way to the tanker, refuel, get in the bubble. You're at the bubble, go balls to the wall, tank, and then go home. But it forces people. The tanker becomes part of the match. Whoever can tank better, whoever can not die while tanking, it becomes part of the gameplay. So it's just something else that teams can do or focus on or choose to use.
I like
for
it.
what they want to do.
I think there's a general avoidance amongst new people, new players, and some of the more inexperienced players in DCS on tanking in general. And I think it's one of those things where you just do it enough times and it becomes this thing you don't really think about a whole lot. And I think the more people who are capable of tanking, the better off we all are as a community. At the end of the day, it allows for, a lot of these different scenarios and situations to kind of unfold.
Oh, diet. I'm not saying that it's difficult to tank. I'm just saying that you got to know how to do it, and some people have never done it. So it's something that you got to deal with. Have you tried anyone downing the tanker? They're invincible. You can't down them. We didn't want to go that far because then somebody could just shoot a Mark 60 from 80 miles, and their tanker goes down.
And it's like, okay, now we won. Let's just go. Let's go tank while they all not make it back because they don't have the gas to make it back.
I mean, in real life, a tanker wouldn't be that close. He'd be further back. That's just how we set everything up. Roundabout says these longer transits are hard on the viewers. Well, that's part of the competition, and I think Billy and I just need to have some better stuff to talk about. But you guys, as viewers, can always, if you want input or whatever, or have topics or anything that you guys want to talk about, or if anybody wants to be our dedicated topic man and wants to get in on this, you're more than I'm more than happy to oblige.
We need a Jamie, dude. Get in the booth, man. Get a headset on. Start sliding us some video.
Roundabout, I think you'd be surprised. Wife's texting me to make sure I'm going to get my brother. Yep. So after this round, we are going to fast forward if they do indeed need to transit home, because I need to be out of here in about 30 minutes. So we should have time, but just in case. These guys are starting to get a little bit closer. Separation between the two teams is down to under 60 miles. We're down to 55 miles. Separated between Gozer and the main element of Baby Shakers, Spock, Loco, Skittles, and Shades. I know that the viewers don't really like the distant matches, but the teams aren't required to fly the distant matches. There's a multitude of different mission locations, from really, really short to really, really long. And the teams get to choose what they want to fly. You go through a mission banning process where each team gets 11 bans, and then the mission that is left is the one they fly. So if you don't want to fly the long missions, ban them. You don't want to fly the short missions, ban them. Don't want to fly the medium missions, ban them. Don't want AWACS and Diamond, get rid of it. You have the ability to choose and dictate the type of map area and fight that you want to partake in with weapon restrictions and stuff. I wanted to create a more dynamic environment for people to fly SATAL than just it being the same thing every single time.
Ban it. I love that.
Ban
If
it.
you don't like it, ban it.
Get
Get
rid
out
of
of
it.
here.
Ban it.
Boom. See you later. Like
Skittles
that guy
and
posted Putin images last week. Boom.
Ban it.
Out of here.
Skittles and Shades launch an AIM-54 at Gozer. Oh, he's not defending yet. I don't see him. He's not defending, though.
You're going to want to defend that.
Is that one that far behind? Oh, we're behind. I got to pause it. We got to catch up. So one of our clients is a little bit behind, so we're going to flip over and look at a different camera. As that missile ingresses. We got a little bit of time. So the missile's ingressing still on to Gozer. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, this is trouble. Was it launched at Gozer? I can't tell if it was even launched at him. Yeah, it was. It's starting to dive now. So if we go to split screen, you can see the missile starting to dive. But Gozer does a decent job of diving to get away from that missile, and it's done. It's trashed. Mark 47s just don't have the energy to be able to... They don't have the sustained boost to be able to make themselves very effective at the ranges that they're currently being utilized in during this match overall. So, Gozer, good job at defending. He defends adequately. I mean, that missile's still 6 miles behind him, so not a problem at all. 1 Phoenix down for the Baby Shaker side. Still 4 remaining for G-Tag. But G-Tag's launched 2 120s already from a significant distance. Guys, that's too far away.
Everybody wants to be a sniper and shoot from, like, you know, the next country.
Yeah, how far is that? 40 miles! No! The Phoenix isn't even working from that range. No.
And not to mention with an 8120 Bravo, like, of all things, I could see maybe when the C's are, when the, you know, the A weapon selection or the C's are in play, we see a little bit longer than normal 120 shots. But for guys to be coming out here and slinging these Bravos at the distances they are is downright scary at times.
This one's got some juice. She's got some giddy up. She's still at over 2,000 knots, so it was launched from probably over 40,000 feet, 2,100 knots now, coming down through the loft. So the Phoenixes, though, they do this really weird thing where they come off of their loft and they just nose down and they bleed like 400 knots of energy.
Yeah.
Does anybody know why they do that? I feel like they shouldn't be doing that.
Well,
Talking about parsing down the video, not the actual matches. Oh, like the VODs? Like that I put on YouTube? That's true. I could do that. Maybe. It just takes more time. And you guys can fast forward through that. You don't have to watch that stuff. I just don't like clipping anything because people never know what they're missing. And then if I start clipping the close-in stuff or the ingress all the time, and then one time I don't, you know something's going to happen if I don't clip it. So I just kind of leave it. If you don't want to watch it, fast forward it.
Is the AIM-54 still basically the 120 that's just been recoded with different parameters, or is there actual there is no Phoenix API yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's different. It is different because ED changed it. It's using the ED's 54 stuff, but it doesn't have the API. I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Either way, the whole thing was not handled right from the start, and that solely falls on ED. I don't really think that's a Heapler thing in any way, but I want to start diving into those waters.
No,
but
we won't
certainly
do that.
a pain point, I think, for a lot of people. That is the sooner the better on getting it sorted. I'll say that much.
Yeah. No Wheel says the 54 uses the old guidance logic, so that's got to be from Heapler.
Yeah, that would be the 120. I think that Heapler took and changed values and changed to basically mimic a Phoenix, and where the downfalls and pitfalls of that are, I don't necessarily know. I'm sure we could get into a debate and discuss all that, but maybe not the time or the place. Nevertheless, it needs to be corrected. I think everybody unequivocally can agree on that. It's not right. It's not good. It needs to be fixed.
It does, and it'll be fixed in due time. I think ED's already said, and Heapler's already said they're trying to fix something. I don't.
Well, it is in the way that they didn't provide Heapler with what they needed to be able to work that missile into DCS work properly, and that is, I think, where I point the finger at ED, not necessarily Heapler.
True. It'll be nice when Magic INS isn't in the Phoenix anymore. That'll be nice.
Correct. Right.
People won't just be able to shoot and then turn away. 54 being launched from Shades onto Gozer, who's 20 miles away. That's a better shot. I think he still could have waited a little bit longer. Like, there's no reason to launch right then. You're on a cold bandit. Just wait until you have a significant threat that's coming in.
Absolutely.
You do not need to launch.
Bullet
But Gozer's recommitting. Gozer is recommitting into this. Do we see it? Let's go to split screen so we can see this coming from both perspectives. He puts a 120 out. I think that's on a friendly. That 120's on a friendly.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. So the Phoenix is trashed, but Gozer recommits, and I think in a panic, launched a 120 at Papa. Is that going to pose a problem? I don't think so. Papa's low, fast. He's over Mach 1. I don't see that as being an issue. Yes, that's not a problem. So nobody's died yet. Everybody's still alive, but Papa is getting into the thick of it. Papa is getting in deep. And I'm a little...
Those 3 tanks troubling too.
He may be signing up for the Papa gang train, the bang train, and I'm worried. He's well within Phoenix range. Shades is recommitted. 14 miles. The tension is building. Does Shades see him? Shades is tunnel visioned on a rye. Turn in on Papa! But he doesn't. So Papa's able to get away. And now most of the guys for G-Tag have recommitted. Rye is probably going to be thinking about recommitted. He may be getting an STT lock from Shades. Skittle's right there with Shades. I'd like to see these 14 separate. I like Papa not shooting in that situation. And you can see what the situation that he created. Excuse me. He's created a bag and drag situation where he didn't turn people away by launching a missile. They're not having to defend against that threat, which I really like. If you're constantly shooting at people and they're having to defend, you're not creating better kill situations for yourself. Multiple Phoenixes being launched from Skittles and Shades at the same time. 20 miles on a cold bandit. I don't know who this one's on.
Closure rates, man. Closure rates, so important.
This one's going up north, and it is not tracking. So that one's not tracking. That one's trashed. Actually, I think that was this one. And this one is trashed. So just missiles being taken, launches being taken way out of parameter. And even if they're in parameter, it's just not ideal. Just wait. Patience. Another aim. This is a better aim 54 shot. I like this one. This one's being launched. I think it's on Papa from 12 miles. This one should be accelerating. There it is. So this one's being launched at Papa from 12 miles. We'll be able to see how fast this thing's able to close in on him. And we can see the smoke trail back there. Just came off. It's inside 6 miles, 1,400 knots. Here comes the Serpentines. Inside 5 miles now. That missile's trashed. That one's done.
Yep.
They're doing a really good job of defending these. But Arai up here to the north's got a 14 all over a 6. Another aim 9. Is this the third one? No notch. Boom. Boom goes the dynamite, and that's the third AIM-7 kill we have seen. Shades and Skittles have been tearing it up. But now, Skittles is in trouble, and he gets taken out. Or Shades is in trouble, he gets taken out. So that ends up being a trade up to the north. So Night Raid able to avenge his fallen comrade. And now we've got a 3v2 down here to the south. Spock has an incoming threat. Spock's in trouble. He got caught with his pants down up top. Flip to his view. He's got a 120 coming into him. Was he able to line of sight it? I think he was. Let's see. Spock's able to... Is he able to get away from that 120? He is. Now we've got Loco ingressing. Loco's in a really good launching position against Gozer. So there goes the 120 against Gozer. BS Skittles is up by himself, so we've got a 3v2, I think. Another missile being launched by Loco. Can't tell who that's on. But Loco's got a hot guy, and he's got a 120 coming in on him. So let's go to split view so we can see the map and everything that's going on so we don't miss anything. 120 coming in from Loco's left. It's now behind him. Where is it? And Loco gets taken down, and now Spock gets taken down. So we saw that on the map. Now it's a 3v1. I think that came down to Billy just G-Tag getting separated.
Yep, I would agree with that for sure.
Skittles is the only one left. The F-14's just getting left on their own repeatedly.
So, I mean, we can make the point here with how long this has lasted. I'm struggling to see if, with what needs to be done here, if Skittles is able to kill all of these guys, how do you make it back with gas after that? I just find that extremely difficult to do.
I don't know.
I think he's got the ordnance for it. Check.
He does. He's got 2 AIM-9s and an AIM-7s left, so he's got the ordnance.
But we're in a position here where it might be a no-win for him at this point if he's not able to do this quickly.
And that's a good AIM-7 shot on a Night Raid from 2 miles. AIM-7's burned for a long time, but he's able to notch it. He gets away from it. Who said that? Gamma Munu says a suggestion would be to have fuel meters. That's a possibility.
Ooh, he's broken up. Did he get hit?
I think he may have overG'd his aircraft.
Overg'd the aircraft. Yep.
It's a possibility, but there has to be some custom code. There were some guys that I was talking to about making it happen, but it didn't end up coming to fruition. I don't know how to do it. So if anybody knows how to do it, I'm open for it. An overlay would be awesome. I've talked about it for a long time, but it's just never happened. Never quite happened.
He's got what? 1.7 and
2 9s. So he can do it. There go the tanks. He can do it. But will it happen? Let's see what Gozer has. Gozer has nothing. So Gozer has no missiles left. And Saber has 120. So German Tactical Air Group has 1 missile. And Skittles has 3. In it coming into a 2v1. I think ideal scenario for German Tactical Air Group in this situation would be for Gozer and Skittles to go head on and 1v1 and Papa to come in and clean up with an ideal shot. Now remember, it is a furball, so and he only has an active.
If I were Skittles, I'd be trying to get some altitude here. The more that you can do up above, the better you're going to be on fuel percentage. Staying low there is just running those fuel tanks.
He's picked the right target, though. He's head on with Papa Saber. Gozer doesn't have any weapons left. He's only got his gun. They're now head on. That 120, there it goes. Oh, shoot an AIM-9, Skittles. No! I think he's dead. I think he's dead. Does he out-G it? Oh, he out-G's it. Keep turning. Keep on turning. Look at that. So there are no missiles left for the G-Tag side, and Skittles still has 2 AIM-9s. Holy crap. Holy crap. There goes an aim 7. Head on, and it hits. It's a 1v1. 1v1 now between Skittles and Gozer, and Skittles has 2 aim 9s remaining.
Almost got him with a gunshot there.
Man, what a maneuver by Skittles. Fight Son, Foxtrot Alpha says, Gozer's got the end around. He's got his nose around quicker, but he is way low on the energy. Skittles is way, way faster. I'm just worried about Skittles' fuel state. I'm worried about both of these guys' fuel states.
Sure, I think we're looking at a draw here. No matter
Skittles
what
is out of fuel.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. I lied.
Maybe the 16 might be. They both look like they're trying to be very generous with their.
They are. Skittles
right
is going in and out of gate. They're in the scissors. In the scissors, the 14's got the advantage.
It certainly does.
Oh, no, but Gozer causes the overshoot. But is he able to pull up? No, he pancakes! No! Skittles is able to do it! What a comeback by Skittles! Holy crap! Wow! Skittles was in a 2v1 against 2 16s, and he's able to come out alive. Roundabout says ground still undefeated.
That's about the way to say that.
Man.
You're not alive. For now, at least, right?
Holy crap. Bring those flaps up, Skittles. Wow. Oh, man, but he was 3v1. 3v1. So he caused Nightshade to break up, an over-G on the aim 7 defeat. Then he ends up going 2v1 head-on against the 2 16s of Gozer and Papa Saber, and he's able to dodge an amazing 120
he says
in an end around.
Pounds of gas at this point.
Hits Papa Saber with an aim 7, and then causes the maneuver kill on Gozer. This is the reincarnation of Epic Ninja Cheese. Right here. It's happening.
But he's just, if he's got 4,000 pounds, he's not making that any better. But, oh, there goes the flaps. Now we got some efficiency here.
So Skittles, who's Mongoose McMoose in chat, says, I didn't over-G the flaps, I over-G'd my nerves and forgot the flaps. Well, you remembered eventually.
What's his distance back to base?
That's a good question. Let's take a look. And I'm going to fast forward this, guys, because I don't have time to watch the full RTB. 123 miles.
Ooh.
123 miles. So we're going to split screen this so you guys can see.
Make that at what altitude?
He's at 11,000 feet. He's at full mill. So I think he's okay. I think he's okay. But we're going to fast forward this. Because I do not have quite enough time.
Coming through, slapping some subscribes down on the table.
Gordo B drops another 5 gifted subs. They went to Preacher, Sortasped, Odd Owl, Dart, and Kickanite. Welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying what's going on, and thank you again to Gordo B. Gordo, when we get more emotes, I'm giving you an emote. I'll give you several emotes. It's happening. You gotta, when we get them, if I ever get partnership, you're gonna have to help me come up with what we want to do. Call sign disco, they do. So climb profiles are pretty important. Ideally, I think you'd want to be at 0.85 Mach and just keep it there and climb as steep as you can while keeping that Mach number. Well, Mongoose, you just ruined it that you landed. God. Spoiler alert. What a loser.
Well, actually, what would end up being the result? We had 2, so they win the match.
G-Tag is up 1-0 right now.
Oh, so it was a draw at 1 match.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So if he makes it back with which Mongoose has totally spoiled, should ban him.
I crash land in a field. Oh, there you go.
Or maybe I don't. Good recovery there, Mongoose. Good recovery. So he is, how close are we now? Oh, sorry. He is 30 miles away. We should be able to see the runway here coming up soon. Yeah, I see the runway. So let's get out of dual view and just go back to Skittles view. Should be 15 miles now, 34,000 feet, 90%. He could glide at this point. Now the 14 you can glide.
Yeah, no, that thing's got some travel distance after that tank's run dry for sure.
So he's over the airfield now. Interesting approach. I would have just gone straight in. Maybe he forgot. Mongoose, did you forget? So let's come back on. It's a pretty good approach. Nice little spiral. Little overhead pattern.
Still got a little bit of speed to bleed off.
I would have just come straight in, though. I'd be more worried about losing my engines at this point right now and not having enough energy to make the final turn. But he's doing okay. Still at 70% engine RPM. Slowing down now. Quite a bit. Are his boards out? Yeah. Oh, Mongoose says he still has 2K gas. Man, you guys made quite the dramatic improvement on fuel consumption. Round 1 to round 3. I mean, that was huge. That was huge. And you guys went from running out of gas in the fight to running out of gas in the fight again. Well, not running out of... Yeah. And then to having 2,000 pounds of fuel left.
That's a big adjustment there.
That is
Especially
quite
with
the
a lot of-
adjustment.
all that hard fighting at the end there, too.
Yeah, roundabout. Did you have a human Rio? Or are you using the dumb as a bucket of bolts Jester? I'm sorry. And for anybody wondering, Jester is allowed in Gold League, but he is banned in Diamond League. In Diamond League, you have to have a human Rio. Mongoose, this is a pretty straight-on approach. This is pretty good. What's on speed for the Tomcat? 120? Somewhere in there? Gordo with another gifted sub to Hellrain. Hellrain, welcome. Thank you again, Gordo. Oh, so he's right on point. Little floaty. Little floaty. Cut back to idle. Oh, he put it down. Didn't scrape any wings or anything. Man. He made it back. What a match, Billy. What
Indeed.
a matchup. And what a final round.
Yeah, I think the result speaks to what we saw. It was a pretty evenly matched, or the rounds are pretty evenly matched. I think we ended with a draw final, 1 win each, and then a draw round on 2, right?
Hold on.
GTAG won round 1. We drew round 2, and
No, we drew round 1. GTAG won rounds 2 and 3.
there you go. That's it.
That's how that went. That's how that went.
Cool.
So GTAG ends up winning that one in 3 rounds, 2-0. In every one of those rounds, Billy, ended in a 1v1 merge. Every single one of them did.
Yeah,
Which
pretty
one
much.
ended in a draw?
I think round 1 did. The overall match was a draw, and then we had 1 round in the match that was a draw.
Was it a draw? I'm
Yeah.
confused. Did Baby Shakers win last round?
Baby Shakers won the last round.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
GTAG
you're right.
won
You're right. You're right.
first
So the
round, or
overall
won the
match was a
second
round. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Draw. Sorry, guys. I was confused. Yep. You guys are exactly right. So draw first round. Baby Shakers won round 2. GTAG won round 3. Man, if you couldn't have any closer of a match. No, roundabout, they don't go to overtime because it's just best of 3. And if we did overtime, we had one in SATAC one year that went like 8 rounds, and people just don't have time. Families come first, and you just got to remember that. So, yeah, what a matchup today. Who flies Tuesday or Thursday?
Look.
Let's have a look see. I think it's my
Griffin
squadron.
Is it? No, it looks like it's Griffin Squadron versus 343rd.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't think we've seen 343rd yet.
No, I don't think so. I haven't watched them.
Yeah, we did. We saw them fly once on several weeks ago against Tactical Fighter Squadron.
Oh,
We've seen them once.
You're right.
We've seen them once. We actually see them Thursday and Saturday, so we're going to see them a couple times in a row. So Thursday's match is going to be Griffin Squadron taking on 343rd Naval Air Group, and then Saturdays is 343rd Naval Air Group taking on my squadron. So I'm excited about those too. But we're going to be back on track with the Supercuts starting Thursday. There should be one dropping today. For anybody that likes watching the VODs or wants to check out the VODs on YouTube release around a week after they air on Twitch, but you guys can obviously go watch them immediately on Twitch in the video section. But I think that's all I got for today, and I actually have to jump off and run, and you do too, Billy. So
yep. Yeah.
This is where we leave it. I'm going to continue to dial things in. I'm going to try and get a third camera up and running so we can have another camera view, and hopefully we can have one that's in the past in case we miss anything that we can drop back to and play things for. And then hopefully Thursday we'll be doing the TAC View debriefs again. We've missed them the past couple times because I've been busy with stuff after the streams. But that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming to join us. Thursday again, 1500 Zulu will be on time again on Thursday. 1500 Zulu today we were late, 1700 Zulu because of real life stuff, but we will be back on track on Thursday. We'll go from there. Billy, you got anything else?
I think I'm good to go.
Okay.
We'll do the shirt giveaway Thursday because of time.
We keep putting it off, but we'll do one Thursday because of time.
Right.
We'll have more time on Thursday, so we'll do that on Thursday, and then we'll do another one on Saturday.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
We can do that. Yep.
All right, so we'll do that on Thursday, and then we'll go from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a good one. Stay safe in those virtual skies, and until next time, have a good one.
See you.